like he has it, he should take it.
With the winning run still standing at third base.
Freshman All-American gets a chance to put his stamp on this ball game.
Here comes Set, the 2-2 delivery. Got him looking, called strike 3.
On the ground, it's going to get through. Whoa, what a play, Olisea!
He leaps, and he got it.
Castillo not going anywhere. That one to left field. It's a question of how far.
Oh, leaping catch, what a play. Eddie King. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
With the 32nd, 29, 26, 10th, the 5th, the 4th, the first pick in MLB draft, the Pittsburgh Pirates select Henry Davis, a catcher from the University of Louisville.
For the first time in history,
The Cardinals are going to Omaha.
for the third time in 8 years,
And for the 4th time in school history. And Louisville, for the 5th time under Dan McDonnell, is headed to Omaha, Nebraska.
You can't say Louisville and Omaha in the same sentence. A great story.
It's the final chance to make an impression on opening weekend as day 3 of the Shriners Children's College Showdown begins. It's Louisville and Arizona squaring off, with both teams looking to bounce back. Louisville gave up 12 unanswered runs in yesterday's loss to Oklahoma State, while U of A is the only winless team left in the field. Hi everybody, welcome inside Globe Life Field in Arlington. Back alongside the former big league pitcher Pat Combs, I'm Ben Wilson. 2 games, just 6 runs for U of A. Arizona, an offense expected to be one of the best in the Big 12. Pat, how do they get back on track today?
Yeah, they got to get better production from the middle of that lineup. You know, you got guys like Caulfield and Kane, White and Walton. Those guys are veteran hitters. They just haven't got it started yet so far. But hey, we're only 2 games into the season. They got plenty of time to get it going. But Chip Hale's Wildcats, if those guys can come through today, they'll get their first W.
Outside of a grand slam from Brendan Summerhill yesterday, only 2 runs outside of that one swing for Arizona. They take on a Louisville team that, after a walk-off win Friday against Texas, was humbled in a 12-3 loss to Oklahoma State. They return Take Davis to the bottom of the order. He's in the 8-hole after serving only as a pitcher yesterday, while Zion Rose leads the team so far, 3 hits and 8 at-bats. One of the best freshmen in the country last year with a .380 average. Hits in the 3-hole. All for 19th year head coach Dan McDonnell. Friday night picked up win number 752, looking to get the Cardinals back to the postseason after a 2-year absence.
Yeah, one of the best in college baseball, and you just consider, you know, 3rd nationally in win percentage among active coaches, and Dan McDonnell is one of the best, and he's got a great staff, and no doubt he'll get things turned around here for Louisville as well.
The Cardinals face a newcomer on the mound today. Not often you see a freshman out of high school with 5 pitches in his arsenal, but that's exactly, Pat, what Smith Bailey has.
Yeah, he's a highly touted prospect from the state of Arizona. In fact, Prep Baseball's number 3 overall player in Arizona, so he stays home and gets to start today for Mountain Ridge High School. You know, the biggest question mark for Chip Hale's Wildcats coming into the season was this starting rotation. Colin McKinney looked great on Friday, and then Casey Hintz out of the bullpen. He could be number 2, but Smith Bailey could be a solid number 3 starter Of course, first start today, a lot of question marks on how he'll handle this stage, but no doubt the stuff is there. He's got the big league body. Let's see how he performs.
The top-ranked right-handed pitcher out of the state of Arizona, now playing for U of A, and has a very good defense behind him, yet to commit an error in 2 games. With Mathis Meurant, who appeared late in yesterday's game for Arizona, getting his first start of the season at third base, the first native of France to ever start a game at the Power 4 level in college baseball, while Tommy Splain moves from first base behind the dish today at catcher. Arizona off to an 0-2 start, but fear not, because they have one of the best coaches in the business in the dugout. Chip Hale, 108 wins in his first 3 seasons, and the former national champion as a player at Arizona and Major League World Series champion with the Washington Nationals, back where he ended his Major League coaching days at Globe Life Field.
Yeah, look, there's no panic in that dugout, not one bit. You know, Chip has got a great staff. You know, Trip Couch, one of the best recruiting coordinators in all of college baseball. You know, Tony DeMello and Kevin Vance, and great staff. These guys will be fine. We've often talked about, you know, the team that goes 0-3 this tournament can very well find themselves in the postseason. We have seen that over the history of this tournament.
Chip Hale excited to watch his talented Peoria, Arizona native Smith Bailey begin his collegiate career. Digs in against Alex Alicea. And we are underway with a first pitch strike, first of 3 games today. Getaway day on this Shriners Children's College Showdown. It's good news for Cardinal fans to see Alicea back in the lineup as he takes a called strike. Curveball on the inner half. He took a big hit, making arguably the highlight reel play of the tournament in the field. Crashed into the padding in foul territory down the third base line, but stayed in the game. He's in there today and takes a changeup in the dirt.
Yeah, Smith Bailey, good start for him. Works ahead of Alicea. Look, you know, Smith Bailey's got the stuff. He's got the 4-seam, the 2-seam fastball, curveball, slider, changeup. It's a big repertoire, but he handles all those pitches well.
Swing and a miss. 94 with the 4-seamer. Pumps it right past Alicea.
Yeah, this time Bailey works up in the zone. First 3 pitches were down. It just changes the eye level. Alicea not able to hold up, and that's the pitch he's not going to catch up to. 94 heat, up and in.
1 batter, 1 strikeout for Smith Bailey, who faces the hero from Friday night, Lucas Moore. Punches one to the right side. Garen Caulfield, the veteran, calmly makes the play. 2 up, 2 down.
Well, the other thing you're going to see from Smith Bailey, this highly touted freshman, is just the composure on the mound. I mean, he just looks like he's beyond his years, and you know, one of those guys that just handles things so well. Doesn't get up, doesn't get down, just even keel. You can already see that. In a big start of his college career, handling it nicely.
Works a first pitch strike to Zion Rose. It is the great unknown these opening weekends. How do the freshmen look?
That's it. It's always, you know, can they control the adrenaline? And
that one smacked back up the middle for Zion Rose, and the catcher stays hot. 4th hit and 9 trips. And you could have literally any outcome for the freshman and not be surprised.
That's exactly right. And, you know, you get a kind of a taste of that. You go into scrimmages, obviously, in the spring. You have some competition in the fall. You kind of get a sense of what these guys can do in terms of controlling that adrenaline. But, you know, when the bell rings and the season is here, and then you're pitching in a big league stadium, your first start in your college career, you know, just a lot of those variables you got to take into account. But Bailey looks the part.
At least for Smith Bailey, he got Zion Rose up with 2 out, nobody on, gives up the base hit. Matt Klein, big wave and a miss on the changeup. That wry smile from Klein.
Just a nasty pitch, man.
Yeah, looking dead red.
84, just diving down and away from Klein.
Watches the curveball miss just inside. Louisville move both Zion Rose and Matt Klein down a notch in the order. Rose and Klein were hitting 2 and 3 respectively the first couple games. Now 3 and in the cleanup hole as Rose is back to first. The one thing we have not seen much this weekend is Louisville run, and a lot of that is because they faced a ton of left-handed pitchers. Rose fakes this time as a changeup misses high. One of the most active teams on the base pass last year in all of college baseball.
Yeah, they've got great speed up and down the lineup, but you're exactly right. A little bit different look when you've got the lefties, and a couple of them have good moves, and yeah, they've kept the Cardinals in check this weekend. Rose wants to go, though.
He is. It's a hit and run and fouled off.
Yeah, you can see that front shoulder open up. He was off and running even before Bailey committed home.
A long trot back for Zion Rose, who came to campus as a catcher but transitioned into an outfielder, above average runner, and clearly has the attention of Smith Bailey. Another pickoff throw. 2-2 with 2 outs just underway. First of 3 games today from Arlington, Texas. Rose going again. Back up the middle, but right at the ranging shortstop Mason White. Had moved over there anyway to cover a potential throw and makes the play. Solid first inning for Smith Bailey with his Wildcats coming up to bat next.
Possibility. At Shriners Children's, we deliver healing to kids with critical burn injuries, like game-changing advances in regenerative medicine and creating the highest standard of care. We never allow your ability to pay for services to compromise the care your child needs, proving time and again what's possible by empowering the extraordinary. Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere.
Possible Missions and their dedicated Amegy business banker work together to put the us in business banking by sharing the same values both in the office and out in the community. Now it's your turn with your own dedicated Amegy business banker with banking experience in your industry, because you're more than a customer. We're more than a bank, and together we'll help put your business on solid financial footing with comprehensive financing options, earned interest on your accounts, and yes, by being a true community partner. Here we collaborate. Here you grow.
Just underway from Globe Life Field, the Arizona Wildcats coming to bat after a 1-hit, 1-strikeout top of the first. Their starting lineups are brought to you by Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere. Big bopper Brendan Summerhill back in the leadoff spot. The all Pac-12 player from a season ago and projected first-round pick hit a grand slam yesterday, while Mason White hit a solo home run in Game 1. He remains in the 3-hole. Easton Breifigel moves up into the 6th spot after going 3 for 6 with a couple doubles in his first 2 games. Arizona facing a debutant, Peter Michael. Well-traveled, his 3rd school, set to make his 3rd career start, first at Louisville for the righty.
Take a look at Peter Michael, and look, Dan McDonald had a few options for what that 3rd spot in this weekend rotation would look like. Brennan Cutts, Colton Hartman, and this guy, Peter Michael, goes with the veteran, even though he's had a few stops along the way. Ben, as you mentioned, not a big track record, so it's going to be interesting to see how he does and how he handles this start today. But good stuff. Arm side run off a fastball. It's 89-91, a slider and a curveball that has plus potential. Big start today for Peter Michael. See if he can nail down this number 3 spot.
This is upstairs to Brendan Summerhill. Not an easy opponent to face as you begin with a new team. 2-0 now to Summerhill, and thinking about where Michael has been 2 starts at San Diego. He was a Chorero, but only threw 7 1/3 innings. Then went to Northwestern. Last year, 12 appearances, all in relief. There was a gate open down there in the bullpen. Home plate umpire Casey Mosier today all over that. Make sure it gets properly closed. Bullpens have to be on alert when Brendan Summerhill's at the plate. You know that.
That's right.
He works the count 3-0.
Yeah, as we saw the power display yesterday, and he gives you a little bit of everything at the top of that order. Of course, athletic, speed.
Had 12 stolen bases on the Cape last summer as he cracks one into left field. Pike ranging back, but has plenty of room. Makes the catch. Michael works back after getting down on the count. Here's a look at the Louisville defense. It's been a big focal point in the offseason after tying for the lowest fielding percentage in the ACC last year. Have made 2 errors in 2 games, but have great range with Garrett Pike in left, Eddie King in right. Lucas Moore gets the start in center after Zion Rose transitions from center or left field to DH today. And Garen Caulfield at the plate for Arizona, ahead in the count 1-0. Pops this one foul and out of play. He wants to be a coach someday, Garen Caulfield. Not many places better to be at if you want to be a coach than under Chip Hale at Arizona, I'd say.
Great mentorship, and yeah, that was one of the topics of conversation with Caulfield coming back. He had hoped to get drafted last season. It didn't happen, and Chip Hale just sat down and said, hey, look, what do you want to do? What does your future look like? And they talked about him becoming a coach, and certainly some interest in that for both parties. Keep him around as a Wildcat if he doesn't get the shot at the next level.
Takes a called strike on the outside edge, and a guy they feel confident in, throwing him in there, top of the order in the 2-hole. Spoils that pitch. Couple base hits this week. There's a reason why he was surprised not to get drafted. Hit .310 last year. Was named to the All Pac-12 team. Out in front of this one, a soft grounder to the left side. Jake Monroe, the strong throw. Good start for Peter Michael in just his 3rd career start with his 3rd team as a D1 athlete.
Yeah, good defense behind him, and that's what Michael needs today. Is he'll pitch to contact. Also check out the setup on the mound. When you have good breaking stuff, oftentimes pitching coaches will have you set up on either corner of the rubber. Peter Michael on that far right side of the rubber, even with half his foot hanging off it, you just have to have some part of your foot in contact with the rubber, and that's a good setup for him. He likes that angle. There it is, about half his foot off.
Deals to Mason White. Misses outside with a curveball, 2-0.
Sometimes pitchers will experiment with their setups and just see what the angles and the arm angles and how the break and what kind of a spin rate you can produce just depending on your setup. And for Peter Michael, he's comfortable there.
Popped straight back on the 2-0 pitch. Michael is a California kid from Calabasas who started his career at San Diego, and after going to Northwestern, struggled. 15.68 ERA. There were some West Coast schools who wanted him to come back home. San Diego State, Cal, but he chose Louisville. And finds the outer half with a curveball, in large part because of the pedigree built up by 19th year pitching coach Roger Williams, who was a great pitcher in his own right, 2-time All-ACC at North Carolina, and has produced so many professional arms in his time now at Louisville. This ball tagged to right field. King ranging back, looking up, it's gone! Mason White does it again, his 2nd solo home run of the weekend.
Well, Ben, we opened up the show with talking about getting more production from the middle of Chip Hale's lineup, and Mason White delivers right on time, right on call. And how about this? Goes down and gets a breaking ball. It was breaking down and in. It was out over the middle of the plate. But White just goes down and gets it. Stayed back nicely with the hands. Barrels one up 2 rows deep out of this ballpark. Early lead for Arizona.
That is what Mason White can do. Preseason All Big 12, second in the Pac-12, 19 homers a year ago. As Andrew Kane back in the lineup today. Gets the count to 1-1 after going 0 for 4 on opening day. 2 hits for White this season, Pat, 2 big flies.
Yeah, that's the area of the hitting zone that you want to stay away from, especially left-handers with power. That down and in, that's just where their bat path travels, and oftentimes you'll see that heat map with hitters, and those down and in areas are just places you got to stay away from.
Unless you're able to locate it like that last pitch where it's well out of the zone.
That's
Kane
right.
Couldn't hold up as it's 1-2. High pop up into fouled ground. Long run for Klein, but he gets there just in front of his dugout and makes the catch. Solo home run from Mason White starts the scoring as Arizona has a 1-0 lead. We'll visit with the head coach of the Wildcats, Chip Hale, when we return into the second inning after this.
Land demands the very best equipment. Kubota equipment. The #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S. with professional grade mowers, versatile sidekick utility vehicles, and compact tractors that get it done right. All backed by unmatched dealer support. Talk to your dealer today to schedule a demo.
Elevate your ballpark experience with a tour of Globe Life Field and experience the home of the Texas Rangers like never before. Go behind the scenes and explore premium spaces, unique club settings, luxury suites, and more. Along the way, you'll discover rich history, impressive architecture, and fun photo opportunities around every corner. Globe Life Field's many tour offerings are sure to take your ballpark visit to the next level. For more information and to book your experience, visit globelifefield.com.
1-0 Arizona as we go to the second inning. Pleased to be joined now by head coach of the Wildcats, Chip Hale. Coach, watching your freshman Smith Bailey back on the mound. If we didn't have the bios of the game notes and you told me Bailey was a freshman, I'd be like, you're lying. There's no way. This kid looks super impressive and beyond his years. What have you made so far of him in his preseason ramp up and his 1 inning so far today?
Yeah, no doubt. He's been that way since he walked on campus. You know, he's been in the circuit for a long time, you know, the perfect game stuff, and he's pitched in a lot of big, you know, environments. So I think he's pretty used to. His high school team is really good up in Phoenix. So he's used to this stuff. The only problem we had with him is he's a typical freshman at the dorm. He seems to catch every illness that goes through it. So he's kind of not going to have as long a leash as the other starters have.
Hey, Chip, we highlighted before the game that you needed more production from the middle of this lineup. And boy, Mason White produces for you again, but you've had a couple different lineups. I know it's early, but you agree you need some more production from those guys?
No doubt. Yeah, we do. Our guys are who are guys. You know, our older guys, they need to carry the load. And so far, it hasn't happened. Today, it was good to see Mason get that breaking ball and get it out. And I think Summerhill's having tremendous at-bats, almost every one. So, yeah, they have to produce more. We have to be better. We face some really good pitching.
It's awfully convenient, Coach. We get the ground out here to Mathis Morant. Made some history this weekend. First player from France to start a game for a Power 4 school. Well, tell us about his journey and a little about Mathis. You don't see many Frenchmen out there in a college baseball diamond.
No doubt about it. Hey, you know, Trip Couch identified him early over at Cochise College in Arizona. And I don't know how you get from Paris to Cochise College. But he was there. He loves the game, switch hitter. He's really a tremendous, tremendous shortstop. And he had some hip surgery after summer ball, so he was really slowed. But, you know, probably as, you know, hopefully we get him back next year, he'll be our shortstop with some young kids coming in also. But tremendous switch hitting shortstop who's learning how to play third base on the fly.
Great stuff, Chip. Really appreciate the time this weekend. We'll be watching you guys closely here the rest of the season. Good luck.
Thank you guys so much.
So a couple quick outs. Grounder from Jake Monroe to Miran at third. Then Garrett Pike, soft liner Over to Andrew Kane at first, and Smith Bailey working himself into quite the rhythm, up 0-2 to Eddie King. Punch back up the middle. Mistake that time on 0-2, and Eddie King, after a slow start, makes Bailey pay. His first hit in 10 trips.
Yeah, good swing for Eddie King. You see that short stroke. He just, the last couple of days, had a long swing and was getting beat inside. This time stays back nicely on the breaking pitch from Bailey and lines it right up the middle.
You figure only a matter of time.
That's
for
right.
A kid as talented as Eddie King.
No doubt. And, you know, King just one of those really mature hitters. And I'm sure, you know, anytime you have a start like that, you got to make an adjustment. You just say, you ask yourself first, what am I doing? And what do I need to do different? And Eddie King certainly, I think, learned from the first couple of days where he had that long swing and just could not catch up to those fastballs in and up.
0 for 5, 5 strikeouts opening day, but even in an 0 for 4 yesterday, hit the ball hard 3 times to the outfield. King has good speed on the base pass. It's Tig Davis. Hits this one way up in on the infield. Mirong makes the catch, and the inning comes to an end after the 2-out single. Smith Bailey dealing out of the gates. His Wildcats have a 1-0 lead to the bottom of the second.
First, at Shriners Children's, the world's most advanced scoliosis procedures are born here. In fact, we deliver access to the world's best doctors for nearly every pediatric orthopedic condition. We're delivering care without compromise is our promise. And kids can just be kids. Because being first always starts with empowering the extraordinary. Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere.
There's an old saying, everything's bigger in Texas. Well, let's just say, IndyCar is about to go to a whole nother level. Get ready, Arlington. This is where history is made, and champions are born.
A little chilly outside, but a beautiful day nonetheless in Arlington, Texas. Third and final day of this Shriners Children's College Showdown from Globe Life Field, where the Arizona Wildcats, the only winless team out of the 6 remaining, have taken a 1-0 lead to the bottom of the second. Clemson, that's been the big storyline so far, Pat. 2-0, while Louisville, Texas, Oklahoma State, Ole Miss all splitting their first 2 games.
Yeah, as we've talked about all weekend, great competition. You bring teams in that, you know, highly ranked and teams that you traditionally see in the postseason in college baseball, and you're going to get some battles. And it's good to see every team with a win so far, except for Arizona, but off to a good start today. And man, how about those Clemson Tigers? They are off and running.
We'll see Clemson later today, along with the other 4 teams. The nightcap tonight features Texas and Oklahoma State, a couple former Big 12 rivals now in separate conferences.
Yeah, I think the biggest question for Clemson is, do you bring Eric Bakich back into the dugout?
Yeah, seriously. That is 2-game suspension and watch the team go 2-0. In the meantime, Aaron Walton out in front of that curveball from Peter Michael. Walton, a highly touted transfer coming in from Samford. 1 for 6 his first 2 games. And moves back a notch into the 5 holes. He works the count to 2-1. Jammed foul as it's 2-2. Another power speed combo guy. 9 homers, 15 stolen bases a year ago, playing for Samford. And the expectation was that he would start at the bottom of the order to get acclimated. Chip Hale saying, no, he's good to go right away. But he swings and misses out in front of that slider. Good pitch from Peter Michael.
Yeah, Walton's been off to a great start here at Arizona. Had a great fall, great spring, and can't make contact with that breaking ball. Nasty from Peter Michael for the first out of the inning. But Yeah, one of those guys in this Arizona lineup you don't worry about too much. You know, Summerhill, Caulfield, Walton, those guys are going to get their hits and be productive, but not that time for Walton.
Easton Breifigel fouling the first pitch off. He slides up into the order. With so limited production from Arizona in general, you have to reward a guy like Breifigel, who hits a couple doubles, 3 hits and 6 trips.
Yeah, having a great start to the season. And yeah, you'll often see that early on. You know, managers, coaches trying to figure out what's the right lineup, the right mix of guys, you know, who needs to protect who. And yeah, Breifigel off to a great start. And he has moved himself up into that 6-hole.
The 1-1 finds the outside edge. Good command early of that curveball from Peter Michael. Looks very relaxed on the mound early. Did not have much success in San Diego or in Northwestern. Sometimes the best thing can be a change of scenery as count runs to 2-2.
And Michael so far has done a good job using the breaking stuff to set up the fastball, and he's pitched backwards a number of times against these Wildcat hitters. So far been effective except for the pitch to White.
Called strike 3. Just caught a piece of the zone on a curveball again. Lots of success with that off-speed pitch.
Yeah, backdoor breaking ball, and a pitch that Breifigel just gives up on, and easy to do when that ball starts off the plate. Comes back, just nicks the corner, according to our MLB pitch track.
That's a great call from Casey Mosier, home plate umpire. Pitch track all over it as Maddox Mikalakis fouls it back. And a wonderful resource to have that for Major League Baseball for the first time in a college baseball broadcast this year. Figure we're at a big league park, Pat. Might as well have.
Might as well use the technology, man.
Whistles.
Absolutely.
We get the exit velo, the launch angles. It's a real treat.
It is. Yeah, we talk about it on broadcast, but then to be able to have the evidence and to show you replays. We've had some great calls this weekend, though. You talk about the players trying to get off to good starts. Well, the umpiring crews are in the same boat. You know, they're seeing live pitching in a game situation for the first time as well, and some well-called games. Good job by the men in blue.
As the count runs 2-1 on Mikalakis. There's a good look at Casey Mosier, his crew, Mark Hutchison, Seth Buckminster, and Matt Anderson around the horn today.
Yeah, veteran Big 12 crew.
Curveball misses this time on Mikalakis. Got in as a pinch hitter. Couple ABs off the bench yesterday. There's a good look at all of our umpires today. Big 12 crew here all weekend. Mikalakis watches the fastball sail high. It is the first base runner today for Arizona. Their run came on a solo homer with 2 outs for Mason White in the first. And it sets up Tommy Splain getting the start today at catcher today after playing the first 2 games at first base.
And Mikalakis with pretty good speed at first base. See if he tries to pick a pitch to run on, especially with a pitcher like Peter Michael, who will throw more off speed typically. Again, trying to set that fastball up, see if he can pick the right pitch to run on.
Ripped foul from Splain. The 6'5" senior from Los Gatos, California, going up against the Calabasas, California native in Peter Michael. He holds up on the check swing, 1-1. And for all of his accolades as a hitter, drove in the game-winning run in the Pac-12 championship game last year, the coaches feel like his value is giving the team depth, another outstanding catcher option. In fact, you can have 2 reliable guys behind the dish, so valuable as the count goes to 1-2.
Yeah, no doubt. And you know, he's a really good receiver as well, and plays a really good first base. We saw some of the defensive plays last couple of days from Splain, and you know where he's put the most work in is really trying to adjust his swing, but gets caught looking that time.
A nice slider that locks up Splain. 3 punch outs for Peter Michael in the bottom of the second. as we go to the third. Still 1-0, Wildcats on top.
Bowman Engineering and Consulting and their dedicated Amagi business banker work together to put the us in business banking, which included the occasional lunch meeting. Now it's your turn with your own dedicated Amagi business banker with banking experience in your industry, because you're more than a customer, we're more than a bank, and together we'll help put your business on solid financial footing with comprehensive financing options, earned interest on your accounts, and yes, planning sessions whenever you need them. Here we collaborate. Here you grow.
Arlington, the Renegades are going full throttle this spring when the UFL returns.
What a catch!
Get ready for more action-packed football and unforgettable experiences at Choctaw Stadium.
That is something special right there.
Renegades, mount up and get your tickets today.
One 0 Arizona as we go to the third. 6 remarkable kids have each teamed up with a participating university for the Shriners Children's College Showdown Team Fundraising Challenge. All weekend long. Hey, scan the QR code on your screen right there or visit ShrinersShowdown.com to donate in honor of your favorite team today. A couple Eli's out there. We had Eli with us in the booth yesterday in Louisville. Eli's also the team captain on the Arizona side as well. And you were demanding, Pat. We were at about $75,000 yesterday. You just saw the look out at center field. You're like, we got to get way more than that. And the people have listened. We are at nearly $145,000.
How about that? Yeah.
Amazing.
You have not because you asked not. So we asked, and the fans have delivered both here in the stadium and at home. So, yeah, thank you for those donations to Shriners, one of the best nonprofits you'll ever find, helping kids recover from all types of issues.
And these 2 teams, along with the other 4, so grateful. The coaches emphasized that a bunch on our production meetings throughout the week to just be a part of this participation. As Kamayu Neighbors, after a foul ball, takes a called strike. Louisville's first ever trip to Globe Life Field, while this is Arizona's second appearance in the season opening tournament. They went 3-0 back in 2022. Smith-Bailey wastes one down in the dirt on a change. This is the first time these 2 have squared off in 13 years. It was the Tucson Regional in 2012, and Arizona won both of those games. Called strike 3. That 2-seamer with some run catches the inside edge.
Yeah, that was just cheese at the knees. About 92 on the gun, but look at the movement. This the arm side run, starts inside corner, runs back towards the middle. Just locks up Neighbors, and outstanding production there from Smith-Bailey. What a start to his college career.
When you have a 4-seamer that doesn't really move or has minimal movement, but you throw it the same velocity as a 2-seamer that can come back across the plate like that, you just shake your head and go, how do you hit that or decide to swing the bat as Ali Seiya takes a called strike?
Yeah, it's hard to pick up, especially with the arm angle and the slot. I mean, Bailey's got it all going, but he tunnels those pitches really well. It's difficult for hitters to pick up spin when you do that. Tries to go backdoor with the slider that time and just misses.
Interesting to see how the adjustments go. Second time around for Louisville, and Alex Alicea, the leadoff hitter, struck out in the first.
Well, got a pitch to hit.
1 and 2, yep.
Got a pitch to hit. Look at it with a guy like Smith-Bailey, who's already established. He's got 3 or 4 pitches he can throw for strikes. As a hitter, you've got to make a decision now. Do you cut the plate in half, or do you sit on a particular pitch? You get a fastball like Alicea just got, you can't miss it because you're probably not going to see that pitch again.
Got him. No answer for Alicea on the fastball coming inside.
Yeah, a couple of strikeouts already to Alicea, and a guy that's really hard to strike out. Just an indication of how good Smith-Bailey's stuff is.
in command right now. Just misses inside. His dad, Michael, played college baseball at Chapman University and stayed in his home state from Peoria, Arizona, the outstanding Mountain Ridge High School. There's a lot of high schools that produce really, really good baseball players.
No doubt.
As the count goes 1-1.
You know, the scouts, no, they kind of tend to hang out Arizona, California, Texas, Florida.
Whew, how about that curve?
Yeah, you just can't cover the entire plate with a guy like Bailey. It's just got to pick a spot you're looking for and then try to battle like just like that. Lucas Moore, a fastball bearing inside, and just fought it off.
He looks, Smith Bailey, like he enjoys the lefty battle particularly as much as that is usually seen as a good opportunity for left-handed hitters against a righty thrower. Chop to the right side, a seeing eye single. Despite the shift being on, it finds a way through past the dive of Mason White and Garen Caulfield.
Yeah, perfectly placed there by Moore, and a great at bat too. You know, you consider all the hits have been singles so far, but just having to battle through, gets the fastball tailing away from him and pulls it right into the perfect spot on that shift.
Lucas Moore's third hit of the weekend in just his second start, and at least gives Zion Rose the opportunity for an AB after his base hit in the first. Most dangerous hitter on the roster. As he fouls this one back. Led all Power 5 freshmen last year with a .380 average. In large part because he's such an aggressive swinger, but the bat to ball skills are so good that doesn't really strike out much.
Yeah, he's disciplined. That's the difference. Yeah, he just doesn't swing it at junk in the dirt, and really has good discipline. Yeah, and Lucas Moore should be on the run here. Louisville knows they've gonna have to play advancement on the base paths to try to defeat Smith Bailey, and sure would like to have him at second base with Rose hitting.
17 steals last year for Moore. Rose, a hot shot, just foul. So for Rose to hit with that sort of power and consistency at a near .400 average and only strike out 18 times, 19 walks by comparison, tells you all you need to know and about why he is a Golden Spikes Award watch list.
Yeah, it's a big league approach, and that guy's going to have a chance to make some money at the next level. But yeah, super good in the middle of this lineup for Louisville.
Moore is going. Fastball high and outside. Good pitch to throw, but it's late. The speed too much for Lucas Moore, despite that being a pseudo pitch out.
Yeah, good release from Splain, but just off the mark. That throws on the bag, got a chance to get more. Got the fastball up in the zone. That's what you like to receive as a catcher in a throwing situation, but not able to deliver an accurate throw.
Just outside on the curveball, 2-2, as you saw another look at that stolen base for Lucas Moore. He was clocked at 4 seconds flat from home plate to first base. Lucas Moore last year mostly a running replacement on the base pass. A good battle right now between Bailey and Rose.
Yeah, first base open. If you're Smith Bailey, you don't have to give in to Zion Rose here. Pitch him really carefully. Of course, you got the left-hander Matt Klein on deck, but one hitter at a time.
The 2-2 punched back up the middle into the waiting glove of Garen Caulfield, who makes the play. Bailey wins the battle, working around the 2-out single and stolen base. Great start for the true freshman in his first career outing. Arizona has a 1-run lead.
Resilience. At Shriners Children's, we're leaders in pediatric sports medicine. With expertise in sprains, tears, fractures, and other sports-related injuries. We're here to deliver the best care in the business and never allow your ability to pay for services to compromise the care your child needs. Because every great comeback starts with a game plan for empowering the extraordinary. Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere.
Naylor Industries and their dedicated Amagi business banker work together to put the us in business banking, focusing on their business needs with lightning speed. Now it's your turn with your own dedicated Amagi business banker with banking experience in your industry. Because you're more than a customer, we're more than a bank, and together we'll help put your business on solid financial footing with comprehensive financing options, earned interest on your accounts, and yes, a banking partner who is just as invested in your growth as you are. Here we collaborate. Here you grow.
Headed to the bottom of the third at Globe Life Field as we go back to another interview. This time a player interview brought to you by Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere, as it is Louisville pitcher Patrick Forbes was outstanding Friday night. 11 punch-outs against Texas. Joins us this half inning. Patrick, thanks so much for being on the headset with us, man. How's the arm feeling after that big Friday night start?
It feels pretty good. I took the day off yesterday, but it felt all right today. I'm recovering pretty well.
Hey, Patrick, Pat Combs here. You know, I pitched with the Phillies for a number of years and had a journey to get there. Obviously, I know you're focused on that as well, but take us back to, you know, giving up the ability to hit. I love to hit, and I know you did too, but, you know, how did you come across or get to the point where you had to make the decision to drop the bat and go full-time pitching?
Yeah, it was a tough decision. Kind of just talking with the coaches here. I do miss hitting sometimes, but we just thought it was best for me and the team if I just stick with pitching for this year. I got injured last year, right in the middle of the season. I got hit by a pitch, so that was tough. But yeah, I'm happy with my decision. Pitching's going pretty good. So.
Are you a big sandwich guy, Patrick? Do you have a favorite? I mean, your teammates are really trying hard.
I love PB&J's. I've been crushing PB&J's.
Nice play in the outfield made by Patrick's teammate Kamayu Neighbors, just on the edge of fair territory. Retires Matisse Moran. I heard from a reliable source, Patrick, that you are an outstanding solver of the Rubik's Cube. Can you confirm or deny those reports?
I can confirm that, yes. I forgot to bring it. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Hopefully next time.
What's your record on that? How fast can you do it?
30 seconds is the fastest.
30? Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I went to a small Catholic school in middle school, and there's like 20 boys in our grade. So all of us were doing it every single day. The teachers would get mad at us. Only a few of us could solve it, but it was a fun time.
All right, so what's the key to that? I mean, you got to have some strategy behind that,
I
right?
need to know.
It's hard to explain. I kind of got to show you, but you just kind of solve it layer by layer. You start with the bottom, and then you get the next layer, and then the top one. So it'd be easier if I had one with me.
So it makes a lot of sense then that you like PB&J's, as long as we're talking layering. Your whole life just seems to be like a layered concoction of sorts. Right?
I guess, yeah.
Patrick Forbes with us right now. One out here in the bottom of the third. So you were a great shortstop coming up in high school. Who were the guys you looked up to that you tried to model your game at, whether that was as a shortstop or then as a pitcher? Did you have one kind of in each domain, or was there one guy kind of above everybody else you looked up to more than anything?
I loved Derek Jeter as a shortstop. My dad was a big Yankees fan, so I grew up watching the Yankees. So he's definitely the biggest one. Watching the Captain documentary. I watched it recently, actually, so just learning from him and learning how to be a winner was a big thing for me. And then on the pitching side, Jacob deGrom's a big one, too, just because he was a former shortstop and then transformed into a great starting pitcher. So probably those two guys.
Patrick, we're going to put you on the spot here. We're going to make you a color analyst for at least one batter here. So break down Peter Michael. Tell us, what you see with him. How's he doing? How, the approach, all that. Just tell us more about what you're seeing here with your teammate.
Yeah, no, he's doing great. He's filling up the zone. Gave up a home run earlier, but he's bounced back really well. Still going right at guys.
He definitely challenged Brendan Summerhill, who's a highly touted prospect, got him to fly out to center. I was going to say, you're in a pretty good ballpark here if Jacob deGrom is your guy. That had to be pretty special pitching in the big league ballpark. Can you talk about winning and watching the Captain documentary, Derek Jeter? I mean, that's something your coach Dan McDonald's done so well of, and we'll see another play here out to center field. All right, how about your pitcher, Peter Michael? Pitcher's dream.
He's doing awesome.
1-2-3 inning. Hey, thanks so much, Patrick, for joining us. We can't thank you enough for the time.
Of course. Thank you, guys.
All right, best of luck, Patrick, for the rest of the season as Peter Michael gets the 1-2-3 inning. We'll step aside, head to the 4th inning right after this.
Protecting what matters most is the mission that matters most. At Lockheed Martin, we know today's threats come from behind, above, and below, and we make sure those who serve stay ahead of them by connecting platforms necessary to dominate every domain across air, land, sea, space, and cyber, using technologies that protect in the same moment they detect. The mission is a safer, more secure world. Our promise is to help make it happen.
Sometimes you just need a little wonderful in your life. So why not go to a place made for it? Arlington, Texas. It's a city made for fun and excitement and all the things you love to do. And even some things you didn't know you loved until you came here and found them. Come see for yourself why Arlington is a world of wonderful.
Everything you thought you knew is brand new. We on a new wave. This ain't what it was. See, when the game changes, so do we. Every day, every play. Always been greater than 12. Now standing 16 strong. In every end zone, any time zone. When everyone else keeps asking, what's next? We know we are.
Well-pitched game as we head to the 4th inning. 1-0 Arizona. You see the commemorative pennants all 6 teams get as part of their participation in this year's Shriners Children's College Showdown.
Oh, that's outstanding. Man, look at that.
Those will be proudly displayed back home for all these programs. Clemson, the 1-2-0 team. They also just revealed the standings of the team donations list. Clemson currently topping the charts. There is still a whole day left to go, but great work by everybody with their donations. Almost $145,000 raised for Shriners Children's. As we start this 4th inning, Matt Klein in a 1-1 count.
I have to talk to my guy Dustin Johnson with Shriners, see if I can get one of those pennants. It'd be nice in the office. Woo, man.
Get your name inscribed. I would sign it. That would probably negate any sort of value, though. So, maybe next year.
Maybe next year, yeah. And a few years ago, Shriners had the bats. I think it was one of the bat companies came out with a commemorative Shriners bat. Of course, you had to donate to get it. I did. I'll donate anyway without the bat, but yeah, I've got that displayed in my office.
One of the many perks for these teams being part of a true big league type weekend, as it's 2-2 to Klein. Wave and a miss. Handled cleanly by Tommy Splain, and that continues what we've seen the first 3+ innings. 4th strikeout for Smith Bailey.
Yeah, outstanding stuff, and there's no doubt. And Ben, we referred to it earlier. He does not look like a freshman out there on the mound, and certainly not pitching like one, but my goodness, the stuff, the composure, he's just got it all, and could be a big get for Chip Hale. Definitely looks like a guy that's going to sit in this rotation all season long if he continues with this type of performance.
And just misses to Jake Monroe under his 2nd-year pitching coach Kevin Vance, who completely retooled as this ball is fouled off. The pitching staff last year when he arrived from Boston College, 2nd best ERA in the final year of the Pac-12 in 2024. But it's not just Kevin Vance. John DeRuin is the director of pitching performance and strategy. It's a real luxury having a couple guys like that in the building. As this one's in there for a strike, and that really, Pat, has dictated so much of the success here for the Wildcats.
Yeah, they brought a couple of coaches that understand how to develop pitchers, and part of that is they got the technology to back it up now. The new pitching wing, they call it, named after Jim Wing, the former UA pitching coach, and introduced this pitching lab. And inside that lab is where a lot of the tweaks will come for pitchers. They look at things like motion and how do you get to the right arm angle, create the right spins on different pitches. They've got the process called Newt Force, which is the smart mound that measures force into the ground in real time. So
smart mound.
Can you believe that? Yeah.
Okay. Whatever they're doing, it's working. There's a look at the Arizona dugout.
Yeah,
the 3-2.
The Kinetrex system. I mean, there's just some great technology now for all of baseball, but especially on the pitching side.
And after that count runs full, swing and a miss on the slider. At least 2 strikeouts in each of the last 2 innings as Monroe is set down.
Yeah, this time goes up in the zone just above the barrel of Jake Monroe. And again, what you're seeing here from Bailey is just moving pitches up and down, in and out. And it's just hard to get comfortable.
Hit hard to right field. Summerhill feeling for the wall. Looks to have just enough room, and he does. Garrett Pike gave that one a ride, but just missed a homer by about a foot. Another 1-2-3 inning for Smith Bailey as we head to the home half of the 4th.
At Shriners Children's, we're home to the world's leading pediatric orthopedic care. Because so many life-changing advancements start here. We provide access to the best doctors and never allow your ability to pay for services to compromise the care your child needs. We're the first place to turn for the most common or complex orthopedic conditions. Home to possibility and empowering kids to achieve the extraordinary. Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere.
Record-breaking global superstar Shakira, live in Arlington. Las Mujeres Ya No Lloran World Tour, Globe Life Field, June 11th. The phenomenal new album Las Mujeres Ya No Lloran is available everywhere now. Get tickets now at Shakira.com.
Yeah, winning a policy. Thank God for $1 of prophecy. Lot of pressure. I am a prodigy. Everybody inside of the stadium tell me they proud of me. Shot in public, training privately. Homer, straight to the balcony. Building muscle, I never can bother me. Texas Rangers together, we by the team. Going artist is the dog in me. Still a game on the road, it's a robbery. Stand on base, going strong, no apology. Corey Seager might give it to Rock. Like I see it, descending my arm.
1-0 game to the bottom of the 4th. This is the source of our 1 run. Mason White, second game with a solo homer this weekend.
Yeah, he caught that breaking ball coming down and in and just barreled it up. But good pitchers duel here. Both pitchers battling it out. Just a couple of mistake pitches last inning. Almost saw this game tied up off the bat of Garrett Pike. Just missed the home run. And this is the difference, though. Mason White.
He was going for another homer right there. Only hits for Arizona as that pitch misses just outside. As great as the power is for White, it's at the same time a challenge for him because he's tended to be a bit all or nothing. Lots of strikeouts. Here he works the count to 2-1, 85 punch-outs in 2024. It's that challenge as a coaching staff. You want to lean into the power your guy has, but at the same time, they want a little more contact out of White. So far, 7 ABs, 2 hits, both have been homers as the count goes 3-1.
Yeah, that just comes with more discipline. And, you know, no excuse to have a 31% strikeout rate when you're a guy of this talent. And Mason White could very well get himself to that next level, but yeah, making more contact, cutting that swing down with 2 strikes. Those are things he could benefit from.
Launches a curveball, catch the outside edge. That's the sort of respect he gets, though. Peter Michael not daring to give in on a 3-1 fastball. Just paints the edge and works it full. Swing and a miss. It's the fastball by him.
Yeah, good pitch sequence there from Peter Michael. Got down in the count, but threw that backdoor breaking ball to get back into it. Then just challenges Mason White with the fastball up in the zone and gets it above his hands. Changes the eye level and gets the strikeout.
Fourth punch out for Peter Michael. As good as he has looked in a college uniform. Finds a first pitch strike to Andrew Kane after struggling mightily both at San Diego and at Northwestern. Skips that one into the dirt on Andrew Kane.
Yeah, Kane's got a good feel for the barrel as well, and good power. Projected to be a middle of the lineup type guy, and had an 0 for on Friday, but right back in the lineup here today.
Hit 290 as a freshman last year. And powers that one into right center. King going back, reaches up and makes a nice catch on the warning track.
Yeah, that ball was blasted off the bat of Andrew Kane. I wasn't sure King was going to get to it. He just had a nice smooth jog to the gap there, and not running all out, but makes a nice catch in right field. Robs a double off the bat of Kane.
Kane got real excited too, the way that thing was tracking toward the wall.
Yeah, sniper got him.
The loud second out. Peter Michael won't mind as he faces Aaron Walton, who he punched out in the second inning. Misses with the first pitch. Just one mistake so far from Michael, as it's a 2-0 count. In there for a low strike. Pitching coach Roger Williams hoping to reclaim that confidence Peter Michael had coming out of high school, and he had a 17 strikeout no-hitter as a senior. See that generous strike call. Now foul makes it 2-2.
Yeah, Casey Mosier was getting it from the Arizona dugout, that 2-0 pitch, but he's been consistent all day. That's what you ask for. You just want consistency. There have not been too many missed calls, and got a good strike zone. Got him.
Plunks him on 2-2. Curveball that did not really spin.
It did not curve. Yeah, just kind of backed up on him, and Walton says, I'll take that with a 2-strike count. Get himself to first base. And just above that arm guard, though. He's going to pay for it.
You can tell Arizona, especially from the dugout, the way they were chirping at that call that they thought was a miss on the strike. Just trying to get some sort of momentum here, despite the lead in the solo home run. Still just feels like they're stuck in the mud a little bit as Easton Breifigel comes up.
Yeah, 7 runs now in 3 games, and just not the level of production you typically see from this Arizona lineup.
Breifigel been one of the couple bright spots. 3 hits in the first 2 games. I mean, this is a team that we watched 3 years ago, Pat, score 35 combined runs in wins over K-State, Oklahoma, and Texas Tech. They could not stop hitting big flies when they came here. That was Chip Hale's first campaign as a head coach, and they were so impressive from start to finish. This one down in the dirt. Nice block by Klein.
Yeah, that's what makes baseball such a great game. You can go through a weekend series and come up short in certain areas of the game. And of course, as early as this season is, they know exactly now, leaving this weekend here in Arlington, going back to Arizona, they know what they got to work on. And hitters have just got to do a better job making contact. And when they get a good pitch, get the barrel to it, put a good swing on it, good things tend to happen.
Big wave and a miss there at the 2-seamer running down. Arizona challenged themselves last year. They've done it again this year. Toughest non-conference strength of schedule in the country a season ago. And this year, outside of this tournament, they go to the Houston Astros Foundation tournament in a couple weeks. Texas A&M Tennessee and Mississippi State. I believe two of those teams played each other for the national title last year.
Yeah, no doubt. It's going to be a great tournament down in Houston. I'll cover that one as well. And it's a fun time. Look, this is the time of year you want to play that kind of competition. You got to figure out where you're at as a ball club, and no better way to do it than to see great arms and get some guys in there that start interchanging these lineups and get some guys in there maybe you weren't counting on if things don't work out as you expected the first part of the season.
Runner goes, pitch outside, good throw down. It is in time. Walton gunned down by Matt Klein to end the 4th inning. Pitching and defense continue to be the big story today. And it's Louisville who turn in a beauty.
Yeah, outstanding catch and throw there from Klein to Alicea. Plenty of time on the put out at second base.
Today we're here. We're welcoming in a Shriners patient. His name's Eli. He's going to be a part of the Wildcat baseball team. We're excited to have him.
Guys, I want to introduce you to Eli. Eli is going to be with us at the Shriners tournament in Dallas.
I was born with a cleft palate. My mother and father found out about Shriners and how they help kids who have cleft palate throughout my life. They help fix my lip and mouth so that I can communicate better.
We moved here in 2010. That's when we had different insurance issues and decided to check out Shriners. It's been a good experience for us.
To have Eli here and to realize what he's gone through and the surgeries he's had to endure, speaking beautifully to the guys and participate in our weightlifting and our tug of war competition was really, really great to see.
When we adopted him, we had no idea what this road would look like. He has had about 12 surgeries. His last one was last February. There's no way that we would have made it without the help of Shriners.
Bear down!
As we're back at Globe Life Field, the Shriners Children's College Showdown unites athletic excellence and the most amazing care anywhere. Shriners Children's is dedicated to improving the lives of children around the world. All care is provided regardless of a family's ability to pay. To learn more, visit shrinerschildrens.org today. We got a chance to meet Eli yesterday, the team captain for Arizona. You just saw that feature in our last commercial break. Part of what makes this weekend so special and the final day today for these two teams. And as we reset, Pat, new pitcher on the mound. It's a newcomer to this program, Michael Hilker, a Division III transfer from Wisconsin Whitewater, takes the ball after a really good start from the freshman Smith Bailey.
Man, just dominance. I mean, Smith Bailey, 4 innings, only threw 13 balls and 53 pitches. So how about that ball to strike ratio? 40 strikes, 13 balls, and a great start for his college career for Smith Bailey. Something to build on.
He could have gone deeper. It was just a matter of it being the first weekend, had been dealing with some illnesses. Coaches didn't want to stretch him out too far, as it's a 2-0 count to Eddie King. Louisville doesn't care what the reason is. They're just glad he's out of the game.
That's exactly right.
King has a healthy rip.
Nobody happier than the Cardinals offense.
Another big hack from Michael Hilker. We'll see a 3-pitch mix, fastball, slider, curveball, put up ridiculous numbers at the D3 level. 8-2 record, just a shade over 2 on the ERA. Got him. Explosive fastball with that quick release for the first out.
Yeah, 4-seam fastball up in the zone, and King can't catch up to it. Yeah, just a nice, easy release from Hilker, and ball just rides up in that zone. And fastball that measured 91 on the gun, but sure feels a lot harder than that.
Just like we opened the broadcast, Pat, talking Smith Bailey and his potential to turn into a Sunday starter, Michael Hilker's also in the mix for that as well. Bounces one in there to take Davis. Coaches love his control. But he falls behind 2-0.
Yeah, you don't often see players make that jump from D3. Of course, Wisconsin and Whitewater, one of the better D3 programs in the country. And you talked about the stats. He's a proven commodity. Now can he just make the jump to this level? Not feel like it's too big of a stage for him, but so far looking smooth.
3-0 to Davis in his second start of the weekend. We did see him pitch yesterday in a relief outing. Talented two-way player and is on base for the first time in his young career, drawing the one-out walk.
Yeah, the out pitch for Hilker is the breaking ball. It's got great depth to it. Good tight spin, high spin rate type breaker. Just needs to control the fastball, and I feel like he doesn't have to do too much at this level and overthrow that fastball.
Hilker finds the zone here to Kamayu Neighbors. Hilker said what many people from the Midwest have long said, Pat. After spending my whole life in the Midwest, I was ready to be in the sun.
That's right.
Moves from
smart move.
UW Whitewater as this thing is fouled off. Was the runner-up for Division III Pitcher of the Year. Warhawks made it to the D3 championship game where they were runners-up. As someone who's from Wisconsin, I can relate to
you understand
feeling
that, yeah.
of wanting to get into the sun, moving out west.
Not being able to get on a mound until April.
Well, in Wisconsin, I mean, when I grew up, we played summer ball. Our high school season didn't start until early May, and there would still be games with snow flurries and winter coats on all over the place. It's just a different way to try and grow up and play. As the 0-2 is lifted down the line, trouble, but just foul.
Yeah, we've heard the case too, the studies of, you know, pitchers that grew up in the South versus the pitchers from the North, and you know, do the pitchers in the South get overused because they can play baseball year round? And so there's a interesting science behind all of that, but yeah, certainly get a big arm like Hilker, and don't blame him for wanting to get to a warmer location.
Lost that fastball all the way back to the screen. Allows Davis to jump up to second. Just the second time Louisville's had a runner in scoring position today.
I wonder if Tommy Splane got crossed up on that. He didn't react to that fastball very well, and yeah, kind of a late move to get to it. So I think he was expecting a different pitch.
He had that glove down in the dirt. And goes out to the mound for a quick visit with Hilker, joined there by the third baseman Matisse Meron. Chop to the right side, long range for Caulfield. He gets there, but just eats the ball wisely, playing deep in the hole. And the first time Louisville's had multiple runners on base today.
Yeah, a good decision by Caulfield. You know, could have tried to make the across the body throw, but the speed of Kamayu Neighbors was not going to make that play. And then you got the chance, the risk of throwing that ball away, especially with Take Davis coming around towards third base. So good decision.
Flips the order back to Alex Alisea. Right back up the middle. That's caught on a line, but a high throw goes into the dugout. Oh, White didn't have to do it. Probably wouldn't have doubled off Neighbors anyway, and Arizona gifts Louisville a run.
Yeah, that's one you just got to put in your back pocket. You're exactly right. And that's one that White would like to have back. Line drive, makes the nice catch, and yeah, just not a wise throw, and that mistake will cost him a run.
Not only that, but Neighbors goes from first to third on the errant throw. The little slash foul by Moore. 2 outs now in the inning, but we've tied the game 1 apiece on the E6, excuse me, by White. First error this Arizona defense that has been so good is made all weekend. Last time Lucas Moore came up with a man on third, it was the bottom of the 10th Friday night in a tie game. And he looped one into shallow left center field for the walk-off single. Here in a 1-1 count.
Yeah, I might have had one of the funniest interviews I've ever seen at post game. You know, he'd make a statement and say, "That's all I got." It was fun to watch.
He was spent.
He was, man. He got tired just being chased around the field.
Curveball
on that
inside.
walk-off against Texas.
I don't blame him. 2-1 to Lucas Moore. 3-for-8 this year. First time he's been an everyday starter. Used to be a late inning replacement last year. Healthy cut on a fastball straight back, and it's 2-2. Big moment in this game. 2 outs, top of the 5th. First time we've seen any life from the Louisville bats, and have a little momentum after taking advantage of the Arizona error.
Yeah, Lucas Moore wears that moniker of dirtbag well. He loves to get dirty.
This was how it looked on Friday night. Just punched one into shallow left center. Completed the comeback. 2 different comebacks. One in the 9th, then the 10th inning. Dramatic win for Louisville. Holds off on the high heat. 3-2. Huge pitch here with Zion Rose, one of the best underclassmen hitters in the country, on deck in a tie game. 5th inning, runner on third. Blasted back up the middle, base hit. Moore is at it again, and Louisville has the lead.
Well, captain clutch for Louisville so far this weekend, and you're exactly right. Ben does it again with the full count fastball. The center cut fastball, and Lucas Moore is not going to miss those pitches very often, and does a great job of just taking right back up the middle. Didn't try to do too much with it, even though the shift was on. Mason White right behind second base. That ball was blasted. Got by the diving White, and now Louisville ahead for the first time.
Good first pitch to Zion Rose. As great as Michael Hilker was at the D3 level, with the gaudy numbers, one of the best pitchers in the country at that level, there were not many hitters like Zion Rose he had to face. As that's cracked foul, 0-2.
Yeah, both these runs for the Cardinals unearned, but they don't care. They'll take the lead.
Oh, 2 outside on the slider.
Yeah, good pitch for Moore to run on.
Stole a base last time he reached in the 3rd. Stays put here, served down the line. Brilliant 2-strike approach from Zion Rose as Moore goes first to 3rd, and the inning continues.
Man, you just got to love that approach by Zion Rose. How do you not teach hitters more often to do just what he does? You know, he gets the 2-strike breaking ball. Not a bad pitch at all from Michael Hilker, and good slider breaking away from him, and look how short that swing is. And that has become a lost art in baseball these last number of years, but man, shorten up, put the ball in play, good things happen. That's a big league approach.
Tough inning too for Michael Hilker, who had the 1-run cross on a ball thrown into the dugout by Mason White. The last 2 hitters, Pat, get him to 2 strikes. Has not been able to finish, and it's Kevin Vance who makes the trip out to the mound, settling down his first-year reliever.
Yeah, again, Hilker flashing some good stuff, and I'd like to see him mix in a little bit more off speed. You know, you come out firing fastballs and sliders, got to change the speed a bit and put something else in those hitters' heads that they be able to adjust to. And yeah, see if Dan McDonald wants to dial something up here, 1st and 3rd situation with a couple of outs.
Matt Klein, a big rip. You listen to you, Pat, maybe they've got an earpiece in Kevin Vance down there. He immediately goes off speed. It's like you pitched at a high level. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's the key, right? I mean, obviously, when you see a guy with good stuff get knocked around, you say, okay, what's going on here? Is he catching too much of the plate? Do we need to start changing speeds more? That's exactly right. Just got to set something different in those hitters' minds.
This is high on the 0-2 fastball. You saw on the edge of your screen before that last pitch, Tommy Splain tapping the glove, saying right here, it's focus. See him doing it again. You love to see that from a veteran.
That's right.
Has had his struggles on 0-2 and in 2 strikes in general, and now the count's 2-2 on Klein.
Yeah, a couple of good fastballs up in the zone, but Klein not chasing. See if he goes back to that breaking ball down.
Does go breaking ball, and it's spoiled foul. 2 runs in already this inning for Louisville. Only mustered 3 hits in 4 innings off Smith Bailey, but the true freshman was on a pitch count, done after 4 innings, and they have immediately gotten to the Arizona bullpen. Crack to the right side, another run for Louisville. Rose goes first to third. Klein delivers, and it's 3-1 Cardinals.
Yeah, again, just another great 2-strike approach. You know, that's now you can kind of get an idea of what Louisville's doing. You know, with 2 strikes, they shorten these swings up. They're getting pretty good pitches. And that pitch was a slider bearing in on the hands of Klein, but able to get the barrel to it. And yeah, just a great hitting philosophy when you get to 2 strikes and shorten those swings up, man. It's worked well. Now accounting for the 3rd Cardinal run.
Another ball back up the box. Another base hit. Jake Monroe adds to the tally. 8 hits, all singles today, leading to 4 fifth-inning Louisville runs.
Well, that hitting just becomes infectious, doesn't it? 4 in a row here now, 5 hits in the inning. Man, you're not kidding, Ben. You said it earlier. Well, there was kind of a light go on in the dugout when Smith Bailey left the game. They said, we don't care who else Arizona's going to throw at us. We're just glad that guy's gone.
They quickly start to scramble down in that Arizona bullpen as it's another knock. They wave Klein around from third, and he's in. Garrett Pike sends one into right on the first pitch. What an inning for Louisville. 5 runs have crossed.
Yeah, just station-to-station baseball, right? No extra base hits in this inning, but they just continue to pile up those hits. Now 5 singles in a row. Just a pitch out over the middle of the plate. Garrett Pike puts a good swing on it. That ball dumps just in front of Brendan Summerhill in right field. Another 2-out RBI. How many have we had this inning for Louisville?
It all started to unravel on that E6 by Mason White, who caught a line drive for the 2nd out. This one's now sent to right. Off the bat of King, deep into the gap and off the wall. 2 Cardinals will score. It takes a crazy carom out there. Summerhill bobbles it. They will hold King at third on a 2-out triple that drives in 2 more.
Man, how quickly this game can change. And how about that blast off the bat of Eddie King? And it catches that wall in right center. We're close to the bullpen. It's angled towards right field, and it catches just the bottom corner, kicks off, and before Summerhill could get to it, Eddie King had a stand-up triple. Thought they might try to send him, but he was held up at third base. Man, how quickly Louisville has struck. 7 runs after Arizona took the early 1-0 lead.
That will be all for Michael Hilker. Tough break. Got a couple outs since that error. 6 straight hits, 5 singles, then the 2-run triple as Arizona goes to the bullpen. And our second look this weekend at the lefty Eric Orloff, who pitched yesterday. Chappelle bringing him in. He's trying to get the Wildcats out of the inning after Orloff was very impressive yesterday. Struck out the side in his 1 inning of work. Tough weekend so far for the Wildcats. New pitcher coming in. Will reset it when we return from Globe Life Field. A 7-run 5th inning for Louisville. And a new reliever into the game for Arizona. Eric Orloff was outstanding yesterday. Pitched a scoreless inning, struck out all 3 batters he faced, and one of the more reliable arms in Chip Hale's bullpen comes back in, hoping to put out the fire in an inning where 11 have gone to the plate.
Yeah, it happened so quickly too. They couldn't get Orloff ready fast enough, and
that was all, yeah, like first pitch,
yeah.
Crazy, yeah.
Just kind of multiplied it. But Orloff, one of those veteran left-handers, you know, already 73 career appearances for Arizona. Good breaking stuff. Out pitches a changeup. Not an overpowering fastball, but knows how to use his stuff.
2-0 count to Tank Davis, who walked and then scored the first run of the inning and of the game for Louisville on that E6. As that one's fouled off. And the E6 was after a line out to Mason White at shortstop. That was the second out. So initially those runs were unearned, but because there's never been a chance that should have been in a third out, since that throw happened after the play had been made, all 7 runs now have been earned. A good pitch finds the outside edge, 2-2.
Yeah, they did change that on the scorecard because it was first 2 runs they had flashed as unearned, but yeah, I can see the reasoning.
Now Davis gets hit, slider that catches a piece, and this disastrous inning for Arizona will just not end.
Yeah, trying to go with that front door slider and just never gets back to the plate. Glances off Davis's forearm and down to first base he goes.
Kamayu Neighbors has been really bright at the bottom of this Louisville order. Takes a ball inside, 1 for 3 with a double on Friday from the 9 spot. Did not play yesterday. Team lost 12-3 to Oklahoma State. They put him back in there in the 9 hole today, and he reached and scored after a single earlier this inning. And ahead 2-0.
Yeah, Orloff trying to find that command, and I imagine didn't get a ton of warm-up pitches in the bullpen, and they were trying to get him ready quick.
Another ball, 3-0. This the 74th career appearance for Eric Orloff. Started a couple games as a freshman. Taking all the way, that's in there for a strike.
should see Davis take off from first base.
Holding here, and a massive blast down the left field line. If it's fair, it's gone, and it just missed foul.
Wow.
Neighbors couldn't believe it.
That could not have missed by much. There's a little gap between the foul pole and the stands, where the stands connect with the outfield stands, and that ball somehow sneaks into that little bit of a gap. And
he had to do the fist. He didn't throw the arms out.
Exactly right. Just barely hooks off the foul pole. Oh. There it goes right into that gap. But there's just not much room there, so that ball missed, hitting that foul pole by about probably 2 or 3 inches.
Kamayu, you got to get your body into that. Throw the arms out there. Will the ball inside the pole. And he takes a walk anyway. Great AB regardless for Kamayu Neighbors. And this ridiculous inning for Louisville works its way back to the top of the order for the second time. Alex Alicea, the 13th man to bat in the inning.
Yeah, Orloff just really battling the command right now, trying to figure out what he can use to get ahead. Plunk Davis now walks Neighbors, turns the lineup over yet again.
I saw that shot of Dan McDonald, the Louisville head coach, a moment ago as this pitch misses. He knows that feeling. His team was on the receiving end yesterday of a couple of major crooked innings as Oklahoma State scored 12 unanswered runs. (2-0) to Alicea.
Yeah, nowhere to put him.
The maddening life of a reliever. One day you've got it, you're locked in. The next day, can't find the zone. Good pitch to hit, spoiled foul. Upstairs, as Louisville clearly smelling blood in the water right now. This inning has totally gotten away from Arizona. Another opportunity for the Cardinals to strike, and the heart of that order is ready to come up next. The 3-1. Ball 4, a walk with the bases loaded. 8 runs across the plate this inning.
Yeah, Orloff just really struggling, and you're going to see a pitching change here. Just could not find the zone today, so the usually reliable lefty reliever for the Cats will exit before recording an out. We'll see our third pitcher of the inning for Arizona.
Closes the book on Michael Hilker. Tough way to begin his Division I career. 8 earned runs in 2/3 of an inning. Orloff has to be disappointed after how good he was yesterday with 3 strikeouts in his perfect inning of work. He gives way to another arm who's already been used this weekend in Tony Pluta. Another arm, Pat, who was very good yesterday, came into relief Owen Kramkowski, who could not get out of the first inning for Arizona. They gave up 7 to Clemson in the first frame yesterday. Pluta pitched 4 outs, gave up just a single hit along with 2 strikeouts, but Chip Hale, he's seen his team give up enough 7-run innings to last a whole season in one weekend of action.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it goes back to just the bullpen being able to get out of innings and stop the bleeding. But Tony Pluta did it yesterday. Yeah, Owen Kramkowski couldn't make it out of first, and Pluta came in, tossed a nice 1 1/3 innings, only giving up 1 hit. Only threw 13 pitches as he recorded 4 outs. So Pluta, the very reliable reliever out of that Arizona bullpen, comes in for his second appearance in 2 days.
If you're just joining us this inning, it's 8-1 Louisville. Everything has happened in the last 15 minutes. It started with a big knock by Lucas Moore. who was the hero Friday night with a walk-off. That started a stretch, Pat, of 6 straight hits.
Yeah, you don't often see that happen, especially at this level. And that hitting became infectious pretty quickly. And a lot of pitches left out over the middle of the plate. Louisville just did a great job of being on time. And yeah, all singles until that triple by Eddie King Jr.
It would have been an interesting play at the plate. Thought they might send King, see if he could duplicate what he did last year when he had the team's first inside the park homer since 2005. But it turned to be a smart decision because instead of risking potentially being throwing out, King stayed at third, ended up scoring a moment ago on the bases loaded walk. And it looks says it all for Chip Hale, as experienced as it gets, the former Pac-12 Player of the Year at Arizona, won a title with the Wildcats in the 80s. Now a big swing and a miss by Lucas Moore, who really punctuated this entire rally, had the go-ahead single to make it 2-1 as he faces Pluta.
Backdoor breaking ball from Pluta. Pluta, 4-pitch mix. We saw some of that yesterday, and has the fastball that's low 90s. Backs it up with a good cut fastball, curveball, changeup.
The 0-2 chop foul. Moore is such a hard guy to strike out. He makes you earn it. And has a chance to really blow this thing open with Tage Davis, who was hit by a pitch at third. Kamayu Neighbors missed a home run by a couple inches. He then walked it at second, and Alex Alicea at first after a bases loaded walk. Good block by Tommy Splain in the dirt. Has to be an agonizing inning for him behind the dish.
Now Pluta, one of Chip Hale's go-to guys out of that pen, one of the more reliable arms for the Cats.
And 4 scoreless innings in the postseason last year. He was great in his 2 appearances. Check swing, and Moore went. He offered on the cutter, breaking down and in. Pluta gets out of it, but not before Louisville sends 8 runs across home plate. They lead at 8-1 going to the bottom of the 5th.
We're here today to introduce Ryan to the Louisville Cardinal baseball players who will be playing in the Shriners Children's College Showdown in Arlington in February.
Thanks for coming out. Appreciate you. Can you throw it as well as your dad could?
I grew up a Louisville fan. When I had the opportunity to stay home and play for Louisville, it's something that I had dreamt about, since I was a little kid.
The difference is your dad was trying to strike guys out.
We're trying to let them hit.
You find out that my wife was pregnant. You're excited, you're scared. We found out at the 20-week ultrasound that he was going to be born without his hand.
I just immediately started researching. I found out about Shriners in Lexington, I think through social media. And then I saw that Dr. Riley and a couple other doctors there specialized in limb anomalies.
The care we give is the most amazing care anywhere. And we offer that regardless of their ability to pay or the status of their insurance.
It's been going good. I started playing baseball when I was 4. I started playing t-ball.
It looks like he can be a pitcher one day and looks athletic, so I'm going to enjoy following him in his athletic career.
I'm very appreciative for what Shriners has done for me.
Back at Globe Life Field in Arlington, the Shriners Children's College Showdown. Wonderful to see that story. Ryan, the Louisville team captain, we had him in the booth yesterday, and so pleased now to welcome in Gracie, the international patient ambassador for Shriners. You had to wait a while to join us here in the booth. That was crazy. 8 runs there in the last inning, but thanks for being patient, sticking around with us. A pleasure to have you on, man. How's the weekend been?
It's been incredible. I mean, this is not a bad place to hang out for the weekend and
that's
some
right.
good baseball. I mean, I'm not personally a Louisville fan. I'm from Kentucky, so I'm a born and raised Wildcat fan, but that was an impressive inning.
You're even you had to tip your cap to what Louisville what was doing.
I know, but don't let anyone know I said that.
So that's all right. Don't worry.
We'll keep it a secret.
It won't get back to everybody. Well, tell us a little bit about your journey and your story, how long you've been involved with the Shriners organization.
Yeah, so I was born in Kyiv, Ukraine. I was adopted when I was 15 months old. But before I was adopted, my parents, through just the grace of God, decided to partner up with an organization called Hopeful Hearts, which was the orphanage I was in. While they were there meeting me, they sent some x-rays over to the Shriners Lexington location. And Shriners said, you know, what I was born with would never hold me back, and it hasn't held me back. So I've had one amputation and then about 10 or 11 prosthetics, and I'm living life to the fullest. So I actually just had to replace the knee that I have right now last Saturday because I was playing some I think it was just pickleball, and I just took a step and something popped, and I was like, well, that's not good.
Yeah.
But it's the quickest knee replacement known to mankind, so it's a lot easier for me.
Good for you, Grayson. Well, talk about your journey just to get here and to be a part of Shriners, and then now what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I mean, my journey has been no short of just seeing the hand of God through it all. I mean, being born in a different country, missing a limb, to being able to represent the organization that's poured into me for more than 17 years. I mean, this is just one of the coolest things I get to do. I mean, on top of that, a few months ago, I got to play pickleball with Ricky Fowler and just have a conversation with him. But he needs to stay on the course, and I'll stay on the court. But
clearly, well, I mean, buried the lead, man. That's awesome. And you say so over 10 different amputations. At what point it just becomes like a new normal, right? And you just learn to adapt. This pitch is driven foul. Yeah, I'm sure people hear that and they go, "Oh my God, I can't believe you had to do that." But what's that like in your shoes when you know that that's a possibility and it's just something you have to deal with?
Yeah, I'm a huge believer in just it's all about a mindset. I'm not going to wake up tomorrow with 2 legs. You know, this is how I was created, how the Lord made me, and so I'm going to wake up every day as it's a gift and just live my life to the fullest. And be thankful that Shriners has given me the prosthetics that they have given me to let me live my life to the fullest.
Yeah, Grayson, awesome story, man. I've got a greater appreciation now. I had a grandson born a year ago named Caden, and had a birth defect, an omphalocele, which means some of his, like it was large intestine, small intestine, liver were born outside of his body. So just had his surgery Monday. But he is the most joyous baby ever. And I see the same joy in you and really every Shriners patient. How do you guys have that perspective just to come full of joy?
Well, I think we all know that we get to live every day to the fullest of our potential because of Shriners. Without Shriners, I mean, we could have gone to another medical system, but at Shriners, no matter your ability to pay or not, or what your insurance looks like, you will get the most amazing care anywhere. Truly, as like with me, I've had the same doctors from the one that did my amputation to the one that will do my final checkup. The same guy that builds my first leg is currently building me a new leg.
Oh, that's incredible, yeah.
And so it's just it's all about the relationship building together. Having that story being written with Shriners is something, knowing that, you know, they want the best for me, and so I can trust them in that.
That's the voice of Grayson you're hearing, International Patient Ambassador for Shriners, with us in the booth right now. You saw Easton Breifigel struck out looking. Maddox Mikalakis up there now with 1 out as we play in the bottom of the 5th. So I do want a shot at you on the pickleball court. Once you're good to go. What other activities, what other things do you still participate in and do here? As you've certainly had a remarkable journey and have been so willing to fight forward and stay positive as you just laid out.
I mean, anything under the sun from cross country, but right now I'm a really big so pickleball, but I love skiing. So I ski on one leg, and I'm going to be out in Utah doing that next week. But anything that I get to do with my friends, D-team basketball, I don't do much than just shoot a 3 and then I tell them to take me out because I did what I needed to do. But I play every sport just because it's all about the community and doing it with my friends. Now I'm on the very lowest team, but I'm out there just to have fun and not really to win the game.
Yeah, I love it, Grayson. So what dreams do you have? Where are you going from here? Any career thing you're focused on?
Yeah, so I'm a junior at Harding University. I'm majoring in construction management. So my goal would be to build something like this incredible stadium, or be involved in that at some point. I didn't want to be behind a desk all day, and wanted to be able to talk with people and do something with my hands. So that's kind of where I'm hoping I go.
It's awesome.
Great stuff.
Was this your first time at Globe Life Field?
So for the game, yes. 2 weeks ago, we were here for another event, but all we did was just have dinner on the field. And that was cool to be able to see it from that perspective.
I'm sure as someone who wants to go into constructing places similar to this, has to be pretty special seeing one of the newest gems of Major League Baseball in the flesh and all that has gone on here in the area to make it a reality.
Yeah, it's impressive, all the steel work, you know. I mean, I could try to do the math, but I don't know if it would have stayed up if I was in charge of the math, but it's just super impressive.
So, you know, if you're part of, I assume if you're part of the, you know, the construction management, you know, you're in that field, like you got to get up in the catwalk, you got to inspect everything. So, I mean, I don't know, that to me would be the most daunting part, as we saw the shot of the roof there a second ago.
Yeah, it's an impressive, but thankfully I'm like the only one in my family that is not afraid of heights. So
okay, that's good.
Heights don't worry me too much. Now, do I trip and fall randomly? Yes, but that just comes with the job, right? Comes with having one leg.
This ball's hit pretty well out to right, but Eddie King has it beat. 2 up and 2 down. Okay, so Kentucky fan, with obviously basketball, that is the sport at Kentucky. You follow the baseball team at all?
Not really. I mean, I'm more of a Kentucky football and basketball fan, but I can respect any Kentucky sport. You know, the very biased here, but they are the best in my opinion. But it's been fun to grow up. You have to. In my household, you have to be a Kentucky fan or you're not a Hume.
There's only a few thousand Louisville fans watching, but the fact, Grayson, your story and your inspiration, I think it supersedes the fact that you're a Kentucky fan. I'll say that.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has their flaws, right? And some people cheer for Louisville, and
that's right.
You know, we've all fallen short of the glory, but you know, some of us have that cross to bear.
Hey, Pat, it's a good thing Louisville just put up an 8 spot.
That's right. A lot of forgiveness and grace going on right now. Yeah, good stuff, Grayson. Well, you know, when you think about Shriners and, you know, they take care of any family regarding, you know, disregarding their ability to pay. I mean, how does that speak to you as a patient and a patient ambassador?
Well, my biggest thing is I think sometimes there can be a misconception. They hear the word free, and then that could go to the quality. But Shriners has the best doctors in the world.
Yeah,
World-renowned surgeons that have been trained overseas, specializing in certain things. I mean, the doctors at the hospital in Philadelphia are world-class hand surgeons, doctors that are seeing patients all around the world. And in that, it's just like, I don't know, it's something proud to be part of an organization that provides consistently the best care with the best doctors, no matter your situation that you find yourself in.
And even like, think of all the different services too. We've had some burn patients, obviously prosthetics. I mean, they do a wide range of health issues, but yeah, speak to that for a moment too.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, I get to do all this traveling with Paige, who's become one of my close friends, and our stories are so different. She is a burn patient who, you know, through Shriners, they saved her life, and I'm a prosthetics patient. But even, you know, in the Lexington Hospital, I walk into the waiting room, and there's Amish people there, like who are getting, you know, a casting or an x-ray. So they really, it's a wide spectrum. And then meeting patients like Eli who are, you know, missing a leg and an arm. In their mind, they want to help each kid no matter what happens.
It's amazing to hear. We got a chance to speak with Paige on Friday night. It was just an incredible conversation to have with her. We can't thank you enough for sharing your story, Grayson. Such an inspiration to everybody listening, even the Louisville fans out there. They're like, look, we might hate everybody who's a Kentucky fan, but we can respect Grayson. So really appreciate it, man. Best of luck with everything in your journey, and thanks so much for stopping by with us.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me.
It's a true pleasure having you with us in the booth here, Grayson, one of the international patient ambassadors for Shriners Children's, joining us in the booth right now. You just saw that visit out to the mound. Peter Michael still cranking here, Pat. 87 pitches as they've really stretched him out. A former reliever at San Diego and Northwestern. Might be his final hitter here. Second time through the order, Matisse Moran as a 1-0 count after the 2-out walk to Tommy Splain. And we did see Colton Hartman, the lefty sophomore, start to get loose in the Louisville pen, as it is 2-0.
Yeah, Peter Michael starting to labor a bit. You know, you give up the walk to Splain and went deep in the count. I think you're exactly right, Ben. Last hitter either way for Peter Michael, but what an outing for him. give up the home run to White back in the first, and then really just settled in, and it did not bother him one bit. Really good innings, 2, 3, and 4. Piled up a few strikeouts along the way, but he has been better than advertised.
And the fact he sat in the dugout for so long during that 8-run 5th inning frame. Still got the first 2 outs. He does find the zone on a 3-0 fastball.
Yeah, I think Roger Williams on that mound visit was just checking on him to see if he had any juice left in the tank.
Count runs full, about to be the 93rd pitch. Don't see many guys get over even 85 when they come to this opening weekend, just because of the time of year we're in and the build-up process.
Yeah, and I think you could look at it from a couple different viewpoints. It's 93 pitches, but not a lot of high-stress pitches. He really hasn't been in trouble. Gave up the home run, but has not had to pitch out of many high-pressure situations. But I think that is going to be it for him.
And this will be the first time, as he misses upstairs, a walk with 2 outs. The first time Arizona has had a runner in scoring position. As Dan McDonald gives his reliever Hartman a couple extra seconds and now makes the walk out to the mound. But a great debut nonetheless for Peter Michael, his first appearance in a Louisville jersey.
Yeah, definitely something to build on for Peter Michael. Outstanding job for him, and sure gives his head coach Dan McDonald a great amount of confidence that he can potentially be his number 3 starter in the weekend rotation.
So Colton Hartman, the Ohio native, 6'3" sophomore, gets the ball as he trots in. Is somebody who did pitch for Dan McDonald last year. And the lefty looks to keep this great day going for Louisville pitchers. Peter Michael waits for him to come out, takes the ball, and gets a nice hand, as he certainly deserves it. Here's a look at what Michael has done today. Outside of the solo home run to Mason White, the guy was virtually untouchable today in his debut as a Cardinal. And here's how it looks with 4 Ks today.
Yeah, had the breaking ball working early on and really established that pitch and pitched off those pitches to set up the fastball. And see a number of decent fastballs taken by the Arizona Wildcats, and great job of pitching backwards by Peter Michael today, and successful outing for him. Transfer from Northwestern.
Yep, ended up with 5 Ks actually with that last punch out of Breifigel earlier in the inning. 4 2/3, just the 1 hit and 3 walks. 8-1 game in the bottom of the 5th, and that now sets things up for Colton Hartman. So much Louisville has had to replace on this roster. 65% of the innings pitched. About the same number of plate appearances on the offensive side. So it's a luxury to have somebody back like Hartman, who was a spot starter last year. 8 of his 12 appearances did come in a starter's role. 5.90 ERA a season ago, as they look for him to build on his freshman campaign.
Yeah, and that was the strategy today, is get Peter Michael stretched out and then piggyback this start with Colton Hartman. And Hartman, one of those guys that's had some success in the past, and I think will look to try to build upon this, and as you mentioned, Ben, maybe become a potential starter. One of the better left-handed options for Dan McDonald. Fastball that sits low 90s, throws a cutter, changeup, and curveball. He has looked good this fall and early spring, and he is looking to potentially nail down a spot in the rotation as well.
Tasked with facing the top of the Arizona order, and Brendan Summerhill. Couple of long, loud outs in his 2 ABs today. 3 for 10 this weekend with a grand slam yesterday. He was up in a similar spot when Arizona was down 8-1 yesterday in the late innings. Hit a grand slam to make that thing a ball game. Could easily do the same thing here as Louisville goes lefty-lefty.
Yeah, right guy, right time for Arizona. Summerhill, one of their hotter hitters in the lineup so far in this young season. He could get the Cats right back in it with 1 swing.
chopped foul. This is how it looked yesterday, with Arizona needing a spark.
Yeah, nice catch out there by the fan, but a couple of rows up into the seats. And he turned that game around. At least got him back into it.
Gets ahead in the count 2-1 as the fastball misses high.
And Clemson ended up adding a bunch of runs late, but Summerhill made it interesting.
He was just a part-time player as a freshman, Brendan Summerhill, then absolutely went nuts as a sophomore. 950 OPS a season ago. Slashes one foul as it's 2-2. You feel like if there is a way back for Arizona, it has to start right here. If they want to avoid being swept and heading back to Tucson 0-3. Inside on 2-2. Part of that 3-pitch mix. Fastball in the low 90s for Hartman. See the changeup and the off-speed delivery. There's two different ones he uses, more of a curve type look. As the lefty works it to 3-2. Runners will go. And he misses upstairs. Base is full of Wildcats now with 2 outs.
Well, if you're Roger Williams, the pitching coach for Louisville, not what you want to see with a 7-run lead. 3 straight walks, and you're getting into the middle of this Wildcat lineup. Home run potential, next 4 guys up.
Garen Caulfield figured to see him wait for a strike. Watches a changeup inside. And you have the guy with mega power. Mason White had the solo homer earlier waiting on deck. Chop to the left side to Hopper. Alicea. Strong throw in time. And the duo of Peter Michael and Colton Hartman work around back-to-back-to-back 2-out walks to get out of the inning. It stays 8-1 Louisville heading to the 6th.
Golden Chick's new Golden Bowl is so big, it's a whole lot of yes and a whole lot of yum. So if you like big bowls, and we cannot lie, the new loaded mashed potato bowl is a whole lot of Golden Chick, a big bowl you can't deny.
Woodcraft and their dedicated Amagi business banker work together to put the us in business banking, creating a long-lasting relationship with open and quick communication. Now it's your turn with your own dedicated Amagi business banker with banking experience in your industry, because you're more than a customer. We're more than a bank, and together we'll work to help put your business on solid financial footing with comprehensive financing options, earned interest on your accounts, and yes, the support you need to reach your business goals faster. Here we collaborate. Here you grow.
A big crooked number in the 5th inning for Louisville. That's the difference right now. 8-1 Cardinals on top of 21st ranked Arizona. Final day of this 2025 Shriners Children's College Showdown. The first of 3 games today on Flo College. And a new pitcher into the mound for Arizona, Julian Tungini, the 5th pitcher today. Wildcats had to use 3 guys in that disastrous 5th inning. But Tungini set to make his season debut, the senior transfer from Indiana, who features a super unique looking breaking ball pattern.
Yeah, he does, and he followed his pitching coach, Coach Vance, over from Boston College, one of the more experienced pitchers on this staff, and does have a nasty breaking ball. It's a plus curveball. It's mid-80s, throws it pretty hard, but a lot of good downward tilt to it. Fastball sit low 90s. Also what it features what he calls his gyro slider.
Gyro slider. Okay. I need to see this thing to really, I need to get, hyped up about the gyro part of it. All right. 1-0 after the curve miss is just inside. As Tungini pumps one in there. Middle of the order for Louisville. Zion Rose starting things off. Oh, he has to be pumped, as you mentioned, Pat, to be reunited with his former pitching coach at BC and Kevin Vance after he played for the Eagles 2 years, then went to Indiana last year. Wave and a miss. All right.
There's the gyro.
I can get behind that. All right.
Yeah, it's got a late break to it. It's pretty snappy and hard to pick up off his hand, but then he'll throw that bigger break, the curveball, throws that decently hard as well.
Swing and a miss. Okay. I'm sold now on the gyro slider, Pat. That's all I needed to see.
Yeah, pretty nasty. Yeah, hard to pick up off his hand, that high 3/4 release, and yeah, just some tight spin with it. Yeah, Zion Rose said, what was that?
Zion Rose only struck out 18 times last year as an everyday starter, and there's good reason for him looking up at the Jumbotron like, what did I just see?
Where'd that pitch go?
Finds the zone with it again here to Matt Klein. Arizona in need of an innings eater right here. They had to go deep into the pen yesterday. 7 different pitchers used after Owen Kramkowski could not get out of the first. Wave and a miss. Just keep throwing it every time,
Yeah,
Pat.
it's pretty nasty. It's,
I mean, man.
Especially down in the zone. It starts out in the zone, just drops below it. So far, Cardinal hitters swinging over the top of it. Just missed that fastball.
Oh, wow, barely inside.
Just missed.
And you watch slider after slider, and that thing is 95. You're just hoping at that point, if you're Matt Klein, it'll miss the zone. Spoils that one, foul, 1-2.
Yeah, they can go back to that fastball. Inside corner. You get hitters starting to look for that slider, and he will sneak that fastball by you.
Cracked back up the middle. This time Klein ready for the fastball. He pummels it into center. A little bobble out there by Aaron Walton, who recollects after the 1-out single.
And went back to the fastball, but just didn't locate it very well. Pitch was out over the middle of the plate. He just caught too much of it.
That's been Louisville's game all day today. 11 hits, 10 of them singles. Jake Monroe responsible for one of those in the 8-run 5th inning. If that's the approach we see all year from Louisville in the ACC, such a deep league, viewed to be second toughest to only the SEC this year, and that 2-strike approach is going to drive some teams crazy once they get into league play, as the 1-0 misses inside.
Yeah, it'll definitely play. Now you got to just, pitching wise, when you see guys shorten swings up, you've got to go up with the fastball, in with it, set those other pitches up. If you're trying to protect the plate and be short, definitely want to take that inside corner away.
Curve is in there for a strike. It's not easy when you're in a league as good as the ACC. Clemson has been amazing this weekend representing the ACC here, and they are not even in the top 5. That one's fouled off. Top ranked teams in the ACC this year. Group like Louisville, 9th in the preseason poll. And look at that.
That's a lot of good baseball teams.
Louisville faces most of those teams in league play. They have the toughest strength of schedule in the ACC. Just missing there on 1-2 to Jake Monroe. So no better way to prepare for that than Coming to Globe Life Field, starting your season out, and Louisville has represented themselves very well, on track to finish the weekend 2-1. Check swing foul on 3-2. It's been a 2-strike clinic today as Monroe steps back in. Runner goes, chopped. That is a fair ball, just stayed in play, but at least for Monroe, he advances the runner Klein down to second.
Yeah, kind of an excuse me swing off the bat of Monroe, and late breaking slider, and not much he could do with it. Easy play for Andrew Kane at first base.
You see Matt Klein moving down to second, sets up Garrett Pike. Think about this 2-strike approach, talking about that so much today for Louisville. When you're a program that struggles away from home, just 7-14 in the road and neutral site games last year, as this one pops out of the glove of Splain and allows Klein to get down to third. That's the thing, Pat, you feel like can really travel. 2-strike approach, you can do that anywhere.
Yeah, it's really become kind of a lost art in baseball. You see these guys just swinging from their heels all the time, and you know, it used to be back in the day, you were taught to choke up and shorten the swing up and put the ball in play. According to the metrics, that's not how you're supposed to play the game, right? Sometimes
analytics
you just gotta,
damned. Yep. Foul ball here from Pike.
I think that's been the battle with a lot of ball clubs over the last few years, is, you know, more old school of kind of having a feel for the game versus relying so much on the analytics.
Fisted foul by Pike, 1-2. I get the sense the teams that have handled that the best are the ones that accept there's got to be a mix.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm definitely a big analytics guy, but if it's 100% of what you do, you can see why there would be pushback, and vice versa.
That's right.
1-2 here. Swing and a miss. Nice response from Tangini after getting into a jam with the runner at third as he strikes out Pike. That good-looking slider results in a couple of Ks. As we head to the home half of the 6th, Louisville still on top by 7. Fans having a lot of fun on this getaway day Sunday at Globe Life Field in Arlington. And this is just the start. We have so much more college baseball to come, including the Amegy Bank College Baseball Series presented by Kubota. That's next Friday through Sunday with 4 powerhouse programs: Arkansas, TCU, Michigan, and Kansas State set to battle it out in an epic early season clash. Don't miss your chance to see some of the nation's top teams go head-to-head in high-stakes matchups that will set the tone for the season. Can't wait for that, Pat. We're right back here next weekend. That'll be a lot of fun, with our outstanding crew. All those teams have done well, and Michigan was the one team viewed to maybe be the weak link there, but they go to Puerto Rico, upset second-ranked Virginia. 2-0 start for the Wolverines.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, it's like we talked with the Rev guys, you know, here last couple of years. They have to set these schedules so far in advance to get these teams nailed down, and so obviously this was a schedule that came out, you know, 4 or 5 years ago when these teams agreed to the weekend, but Yeah, certainly setting up for some really great baseball. We've seen some already here at the Shriners Children's College Showdown. It's going to continue the next 2 weekends here at Globe Life.
Michigan was, as you mentioned, Pat, with how long and far out these schedules get made, they were coached by Eric Bakich back when that agreement was signed.
That's right.
And now Eric Bakich is at Clemson, who has been the talk of weekend one. We'll see them next, Clemson and Ole Miss, in our second game to come. Meanwhile, Mason White at the plate here, 1-1 count. Only source of Arizona offense today, as that one just misses inside. Good look at Colton Hartman. After a solid freshman year, he did make a couple starts toward the back half of his freshman year that were very, very impactful. As this count runs to 3-1. He went 5 2/3, gave up just 1 hit at Boston College, then went 5 shutout against Notre Dame last few weekends of the season.
Well, Arizona's got a chance to get back in this game. It's middle of this order that we talked about in the pregame. These guys have to start producing at a higher level. You've got the Mason White home run. Then outside of White, it is 0 for 8 in the middle of the lineup, outside of the 1 hit from Mason White.
The 3-2 called strike 3. Changeup locks up White. And part of the struggles for Arizona, Pat, it's been even getting to positions to create some damage. Just 1 at bat with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, nice pitch from Colton Hartman. Changeup that catches the top of the zone and locks up Mason White.
Six Ks now for the Louisville staff today. First for Hartman. Behind 1-0 to Andrew Kane. Kane 0 for 6 this weekend. As that one bounces in the dirt. You'll be seeing Arizona again, Pat, in a couple weeks. They go home, take on New Mexico Tuesday in their home opener, but it's really just a short period of time trying to get some confidence and things all squared away, because they come right back to Texas, go to Houston in a couple weeks' time. As this 2-0 comes in and is skied foul.
Yeah, no doubt they'll get it turned around. It's just, you know, how long will it take? And it's one thing to have a couple of your key guys not hitting early season. You know, whole other deal when you've got 4 or 5 of them struggling to get out of the gate. But that is what they're dealing with at the moment. Outside of Brendan Summerhill, the top of the lineup has been great.
Swing and a miss. Good looking changeup.
You know, Breifogel's been outstanding, but outside of those 2 hitters, it's been a little low in the tank.
The goal this year from Chip Hale is to get to Omaha. He said that's the program's next step. 2-2 is chop foul. If they don't come back today, we'd be trying to follow in the footsteps of Texas back in 2022 to lose all 3 games and then make it to Omaha. It has been done.
Yeah, good look at Chip, and great staff there. Trip Couch to his left.
Chop to the right side. It's right at Neighbors who makes the play. A really cool connection between Chip Hale and Trip Couch, who we brought over from South Carolina. Those 2 guys go way back. They actually worked together back in 1999 on the U.S. national team. Chip told us that Trip Couch, one of the best communicators around. Trip then left to be a Diamondback scout. He helped draft Paul Goldschmidt back in the day, one of the great Diamondbacks. Then Chip Hale comes along. He ended up managing the Diamondbacks for a couple years in the mid-2010s, and they always joked about eventually working together if Chip Hale decided to go back into coaching once he left the D-backs. He describes Trip Couch as head coach B, and here they are back together in Tucson.
Yeah, Trip, highly regarded, one of the better recruiting coordinators in college baseball. Spent some time at University of Houston where I got to know him, and one of those guys you just enjoy talking baseball with.
1-1 count to Aaron Walton. Big wave and a miss. That's been a very effective changeup since Hartman came in. And we have a lot of connections to Paul Goldschmidt this weekend, where Ty Harrington will be on the call for games 2 and 3 tonight with our pal Brant Freeman. He coached Goldie at Texas State.
Sure did.
Another nice pitch. This time the fastball dots the outside edge. Colton, Hartman, and Louisville on the roll right now. They lead at 8-1 heading to the 7th. 7th strikeout as a staff today as the Cardinals move closer to going to 2-1 on the weekend. Globe Life Field in Arlington. We're back here on a beautiful Sunday afternoon with a reminder that your college sports have a home on Flo College. Watch more than 12,000 college sporting events from 100 schools and 12 different conferences only on Flo College. Head to flocollege.com today to see everything now. We certainly welcome those of you unable to make the trip down, fans of Louisville, Arizona, able to join us this weekend. Been a lot of fun baseball as Day 3 gets underway. Still have Ole Miss and Clemson to come, and then Texas, Oklahoma State. That will be a big-time crowd tonight to wrap things up.
And now we can say the old Big 12 matchup, right? Texas moving to the SEC. And that would probably not have happened last year. Conference foes taking on each other this early in a season. It works well now.
This one upstairs to Eddie King. There was an example of that happening, but in a different way in the Kubota series last year. It was the third weekend, and it was Jim Schlossnagle and Texas A&M who were facing TCU, but he did not, he'd gotten that scheduled with TCU, as this one's grounded to the left side. A nice charge and a play made by Morant for the first out. So they did kind of a altered round robin. Texas A&M and TCU did not play each other, and that was Coach Schloss sort of out of respect for the two programs. So it ended up being those two Texas teams against the two Pac-12 schools that came here last year.
No doubt. How sharp is Matisse Morant at third base?
Kid is awesome.
Gloved everything and every throw on line, and he's also a great shortstop as well. Boy, gives some options for Chip Hale on that left side of the infield.
And congratulations to the Morant family, first native of France to start a game at the Power 4 level in college baseball. He also has a brother who's also at Cochise JUCO. That's where they found Matisse. Swing and a miss here by Tag Davis. Tanguy. I have no idea if I'm saying that right. That's my best. I've been to France once, Pat.
Hey, we'll take it.
It's awesome. It's a great place. I think that's how you say it. Swing and a miss. Good pitch down in the dirt. Dug out as Splain throws down to first, and Davis retired on strikes with Julian Tangini back out there for another inning.
You talk about the different tracks to this level of baseball, and of course the travel summer leagues have been the way to do it. You showcase in those summer leagues against great competition. It obviously has changed the last 20-25 years where scouts have to go to the high schools to find players. Well, now they can all pick out the top 5 or 6 summer league tournaments and go see these players play. But for a guy like Matisse Morin, I didn't have the luxury of doing that in France. Not too many elite travel ball leagues over in Paris. So to come over and do what he's done, it's really impressive. He and his brother both.
1-1 count here to Kamayu Neighbors. And what Arizona's been able to do in general, getting an international player, finding a pitcher from the D3 level who made his debut earlier today. That one just misses on 1-1.
Yeah, I tell these young players, look, if you're good enough, you're going to get found. I mean, they'll find you somewhere. You just have to develop your talent, get really good at your craft, and take it serious.
Neighbors a great example of that too at the plate as he takes a called strike. 15 years ago, does a kid from Carson, California who plays at CSUN, has a nice year, does he ever get noticed by a team like Louisville?
Right.
Probably not, but the way how many games are now broadcast and all the film that's available, Neighbors has been an awesome ad. Puts that one in play, shift on, gotta hurry, and they just nab him. Nice job. With Mason White shifted over to the right side of the infield, and a much needed 1-2 inning for Arizona as Tungini gets the Cardinals in order. Stretch time at Globe Life Field, 8-1 lead for the Cardinals. Arizona still playing hard though in the field with a nice defensive play. Stretch time in Arlington, Texas. The 7th inning stretch brought to you by Amegy Bank. They do it in unique fashion here in Texas, with Louisville on top of Arizona 8-1. Slightly late arriving crowd. It's a Sunday after all, but we're expecting another big day of college baseball, and reason for Louisville to celebrate. Even the tough weekend for Arizona, they're still having a lot of fun here. Fans who've made the trip from out west.
A little deep in the heart of Texas for 7th inning stretch here at Globe Life Field, and you can do the Texas two-step. You can just get up and stretch. A lot of options here at the ballpark, but great to see some Arizona fans having fun, and Louisville fans as well. They are enjoying the scene, especially with the lead on the scoreboard.
Good to know you're a Texas two-step guy, Pat. I wouldn't have expected anything less. I'm a roll out the barrel guy myself. We don't get that here in Texas, so got to go up to the old Miller Park, now American Family Field.
That's right.
Milwaukee for that, unfortunately, but we're ready to go. Bottom of the 7th, and a new pitcher into the fray for Louisville. We were expecting to see him at some point this weekend, maybe even as a starter, but Brennan Cutts, highly coveted transfer, enters the game. Last year's Missouri Valley Pitcher of the Year out of Indiana State. as he faces a pinch hitter, and TJ Adams works ahead of him 0-2. Cardinal fans really excited to get Cutts with how much experience he has on the all-regional team last year when the Sycamores went dancing. Punch to the right side. King took a step back, now comes in and makes the catch. Easily could be a starter when all is said and done.
Yeah, it certainly could be. And he's got stuff that plays also the back end of the bullpen. With the fastball that's 89 to 92. He's touched 93 early in the spring. But the sweeping slider is his out pitch. It is a nasty one, and also offers up a changeup. It's a good 3-pitch mix from Cutts.
Finds the outside edge. One of 3 ex-Indiana State Sycamores, part of that outstanding mid-major program that made a good run into the NCAA tournament last year. Now on Power 4 teams playing in this very tournament. He is ahead 0-2.
A couple of good fastballs each side of the plate on Mikalakis.
Check swing, no offer on the slider that just missed. He was such a workhorse last year at Indiana State. Was more of a midweek guy in 2023, but exploded last year. He was second in the Missouri Valley in backwards Ks, 10th in overall strikeouts. Got lots of guys fooled. Just missed inside with the fastball. And it was highlighted where his stock reached its absolute peak. Early June, postseason baseball, regionals against Illinois, went 9 innings in a regional win. Not easy to do in today's day and age of college baseball. But he did it and gets a little tapper back to the mound. Easy play for Cutts.
Yeah, he definitely has the build for it. He's got the body that can be durable and get him deep in games. Coming out of the pen today, and that's going to be the question mark for Dan McDonald and his staff is what do we do with Cutts, because he can help you in a lot of different ways. Say he's got closer type stuff, and he does. He attacks the zone well. Really good command of all 3 of those pitches.
Best ERA, best opponent batting average in the Missouri Valley as he just misses outside to Tommy Splain. They won a big recruiting battle for Brennan Cutts. Miami heavily recruited him, fellow ACC foe.
Well, you hit that portal and it comes down to dollars and opportunity. Is this the right fit? Will I get the innings I'm looking for, and what's the paycheck look like?
The 1-1 to Splain fouled off.
It is really crazy to think how college baseball has changed so much, just even the past couple of years. You know, of course, when the portal opened and players were starting to flood into it, you know, you mainly thought, well, this is a great opportunity for the players to move in situations where they can, you know, get on the field and not get stuck behind players. And you know, you got sometimes over promises and, you know, not much in terms of delivery. And but then the last couple of years with the amount of money exchanging hands, especially for some of the top end players, you know, the top 15, 20 guys in the country now that hit that portal, sometimes seeing paychecks in that, you know, 300 to 600,000 range, and it has definitely changed the game. And talk to coaches, and they'll tell you how frustrating it is for them, because not only do they have to look at the guys going into the portal, they have to re-recruit their team every year.
Couple sliders missing outside. It's 3-2. Misses with the fastball. 2-out walk for Tommy Splain. In the case of a guy like Brennan Cutts on the mound, who was draft eligible last year, you start to weigh the NIL, the money, with, okay, what would a draft signing bonus be in the general area I'm likely to get picked?
That's right.
It ends up being a numbers game in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And that's where obviously the the so-called family advisors, right? The agents, have gotten involved big time. And now some of that stuff needs to be cleaned up. And when I say that, it's, there's messages and things being sent to players. Hey, you might want to think about this. I've already been talking to, other teams about you, and you can move to this program. I can get you $200,000 if you do that. I mean, there's a lot of under the table stuff that's going on, and that's the things that I know college coaches want to get cleaned up. So how they do that's going to be important, I think, going forward, just to make sure the system is fair and it's, it's equitable.
Amen to that. 0-2 the count to Moran. I'm sure some of these college coaches would like to be able to sleep at least 6 hours a night every so often.
No doubt.
It's a 365-day job a year.
Yeah, the phones are always blowing up, right? All the text messages and everything else going on.
Swing and a miss. Morant down on strikes. A first look at the very impressive Brennan Cutts could very well be a big factor in the Louisville staff, continuing as the season rolls on. 8-1 Louisville leads as we head to the 8th inning. Day 3 of the Shriners Children's College Showdown from Arlington. We've reached the 8th inning, game 1 of 3 today from Globe Life Field, with Louisville on top by 7. And a new pitcher enters the fold for Arizona. 6th of the day today after Julian Tungini had a couple of really strong innings. Chip Hale turns the ball to an awesome freshman Mason Russell. Power slider is what you have to watch out for here, Pat.
Yeah, super talented freshman, and he's just a great competitor, but yeah, really good breaking stuff. And he's going to continue to develop, but could be a future weekend starter here for the Cats. But great deception with the slider. Really difficult pitch to pick up out of his hand, but also offers the fastball in the low 90s, curveball, and a changeup. So 4-pitch mix for Russell.
He gets the top of the Louisville order. Alex Alicea flashes bunt and pulls it back 1-0. Mason Russell drafted in the 20th round of this past summer's draft by the Cincinnati Reds. That's where that dual recruitment angle comes in as he finds the inner half. Had enough trust, though, in the Tucson staff, Chip Hale, Kevin Vance, the pitching coach, to go the college route.
Well, we saw a really talented freshman early in the game for Arizona, Smith Bailey, and consider with him and Russell, 2 great pieces to this freshman class, and 2 pitchers that you could see win a lot of games in the Wildcat uniforms.
Led his high school to back-to-back Arizona State titles out of Castile High School. Wave and a miss. Jammed Alicea on the inner half, and it's 2-2. Mason Russell, heading into this year, named the Baseball America Big 12 Preseason Freshman of the Year. Curve just misses as the count runs full. That tells you the expectations are quite high for Russell. Called strike 3. That cut fastball freezes Alicea, and Russell starts his career with a punch out.
Yeah, it's a hard cutter, and it's pretty snappy as well. You see it catches the top of the strike zone as Splain frames it up. Yeah, Alicea trying to duck it, but don't put umpire Casey Moser will have none of it. Yeah, good pitch from Mason Russell. First at bat, first strikeout of his career in college.
Based on what we've seen this weekend, as Lucas Moore takes the slider just outside of Colin McKinney, who pitched well on Friday night for Arizona in a loss to Ole Miss, you could talk yourself into about a half dozen different guys ending up being Saturday and Sunday starters.
Yeah,
for
sure could. Yeah. Well, I think Bailey solidified, his spot, and then you go, well, Casey Hintz could be one of those guys. Mason Russell for sure. I mean, that you hate to go with a couple of freshmen in your weekend rotation just because you want to get those guys some experience, get them more comfortable. But certainly the stuff plays at this level.
2-0 taken on the outside edge for a strike by Lucas Moore.
And you saw the quick hook of Smith Bailey. Earlier, I mean, 53 pitches, and he has been battling some sickness, so you can understand there. But sure looked like he was just rolling.
That's where the game turned as the count runs 3-1. Bailey taken out after the 53 pitches. The very next inning, Louisville scored all 8 of its runs in that 5th. Big wave and a miss on 3-1 by Moore. 10 of the 11 hits, singles for Louisville. Had the 2-run triple by Eddie King that was at the back end of that rally, but it was just death by 1,000 cuts against a whole lot of Arizona relievers. And the slider misses on 3-2. Lucas Moore continues his big weekend. Couple base hits and now a walk. Another opportunity for Zion Rose at the plate. 5 hits in 12 trips already. It's not easy to maintain pace from your previous year when you hit 380. As he takes a slider inside, but Zion Rose, he's off to a pretty good pace in that front. Hit almost 400 in conference play last year. This was not a guy who just beat up on midweek non-con pitchers. And it's 2-0.
Rose just, again, we've talked about it all weekend, but, the approach he has. I mean, you talk about a guy who just looks super comfortable in the box. Just great plate discipline. He earns good pitches because he's patient.
Just out in front of that slider. When Dan McDonnell, his head coach, was asked what's different from Rose going from freshman to sophomore, he said it's all about the professional routine. Now that he knows what's out there and what's offered, he falls in line with some of the great players they've coached. Fouled that one off his foot, and it's 2-2. And when Dan McDonnell says that, Pat, you have to use the context, which is 30 different guys have reached the big league since he's arrived. So he knows what he's talking about.
He knows talent. He knows the guys that make it to the next level, what it takes and what it looks like. And Rose taking some time. He took that foul ball off his kneecap. That hurts. Yeah, he needs a little extra time on that one. That was a cutter that was bearing in on his hands. You saw him pull his hands in, and that ricocheted right off his knee.
At least it happened indoors, climate controlled, as his head coach Dan McDonald looks on. Louisville plays a bunch of games at home starting Wednesday against Xavier. Back up the middle, Zion Rose, so hard to get out as he serves that one back up the box.
Yeah, just like that. Take one off your kneecap, and then you get back in the box and hit a nasty breaking ball. It's actually a good pitch from Mason Russell. And Rose is going to exit the game. Yeah, good call by Dan McDonald. Get your star player out after taking that one off the knee, but yeah, he just continues to produce it at a high level.
Michael Lippy was in the starting lineup the first couple games. He's in there at pinch runner. And Zion Rose did not play the field today. Was the left fielder the first 2 games. Lippy will be the DH. That one plastered to the left side. Matt Klein goes the other way. The beat goes on for Louisville. Make it 9-1. 3rd single of the day for the Louisville catcher.
Yeah, great at bat for Klein there. Just goes with the pitch. Like to see that. Klein has a tendency to overswing at times and go for the fences, but stayed in nicely and just pokes that ball to left field.
No sense in attempting to pull a slider going away from you as a lefty against a lefty. Easier said than done.
Yeah, that's right.
Matt Klein goes with it as we see the head pitching coach Kevin Vance come out to the mound, try to settle down his freshman Mason Russell.
Yeah, quick visit there. I think it's, hey, just trust your stuff. You're not throwing poorly. You give up a hit to Zion Rose that was actually a good pitch. Just a quick reminder to lean in on that stuff. Let it work for you.
Jake Monroe, a healthy hack at that slider. Seven of the 9 in this Louisville order have at least a hit. And all 7 guys who do have hits have singles. 12 of them today. That one's cracked to right center. It's looping and it's down. Make it 10-1 Cardinals as they go first to third, and Monroe has his 2nd base hit of the day.
Again, just another great swing from these Louisville hitters, and Monroe gets a pitch up out over the plate, just dumps it into center field in front of Aaron Walton. And yeah, what is this, Ben? I think it's 1 extra base hit the entire day.
Mm-hmm. Wow. 1 out of the 14 hits have been extra bases. Garrett Pike takes the fastball high. Only extra base hit was Eddie King's 2-run triple. They hit off that notch out in right center back in the 8-run 5th.
Well, the 10-run rule is in effect this entire tournament, and Texas, of course, turned that trick last night. They did it in 7 innings. This could be an 8-inning affair. They can cut it short by an inning if Louisville will score and hold Arizona in the bottom of the 8th.
Slider backs up on Russell. 2-0 inside to Pike. Talk about a first impression. Garrett Pike, as the count runs to 3-0. 21 homers at Toledo last year. Transfers into a Power 4 club. Couple base hits this week. Had the 2-run game tying single in the 9th inning Friday night. And watches a fastball for a strike.
What's your take on the uniforms? You like that? Like that look?
I'm all for it. Louisville has a lot of different variety.
They do, yeah.
Like. They went all black to start the tournament.
Yeah, this is kind of the old Astros multicolor.
Big wave and a miss. As long as you can read the jersey numbers. I mean, that's all we care about.
Man, that, yeah, you bet. And one of those camo jerseys came out years ago. They were terrible. Ugh.
I'm all for as much throwbacks as possible in the baseball uniform.
Yeah, that's a good look. I do like this, the different color shades of red.
Jam shot up the middle, another base hit. Garrett Pike, as his third of the weekend, drives in another run, and Louisville has reached run rule territory as they lead it 11-1.
Yeah, fourth single in a row, and again, for a young pitcher, you know, the first thing is don't fall behind. You know, you have to give in when you get behind hitters, and that's what's happened here last couple of hitters. And now Chip Hale's going to make the move, and yeah, part of this is you protect your young pitchers. You know, don't let them get too much in a bind. And Mason Russell flashed some great stuff. It's be a matter of time for him to learn just how to use those pitches effectively and work ahead of hitters. That was the downfall today for him.
Russell's afternoon is over. We'll welcome in a new pitcher, the 7th of the day for Arizona when we come back. Three runs in this 8th inning, 11-1 lead for Louisville. 12th different pitcher used for the Wildcats between Saturday and today. And it's Hunter Alberini, who very well could be a high leverage reliever for the Wildcats, Pat. I guess for us, the one positive is we're getting to see a lot of different arms.
Yeah, a lot of arms.
We're learning all about Arizona this weekend.
Yeah, look, you might think, oh, we're going deep in the tank in the Wildcat bullpen to find arms, but that is not the case. Every one of these guys can throw it. Hunter Alberini, a great arm, and you'll see a fastball that's really easy heat, you know, 94, 95 on the gun, and good breaking stuff to back it up.
It's a swing and a miss from Eddie King. We'll see that fastball top out at 94, along with a slider, curveball, and changeup. 4 years spent at 2 different JUCOs. This is his junior year of eligibility. Called strike on the inner half. Eddie King had the 2-run triple back in the 6th, had a base hit in the 2nd inning, finally broke through after a really frustrating start to the weekend, went 0 for his first 9 with 6 Ks.
Yeah, Alberini could be a big part of the back end of the bullpen.
There's another base hit. Now King has really turned it around today, hasn't he? 12-1 Louisville. It's 4 runs in this 8th inning.
Yeah, good to see Eddie King turning it around. He had a tough start to the series, you know, 5 strikeouts on Friday. and struggled a bit yesterday, although he made great contact. Doesn't have much to show for it. Today, this is weaker contact coming off the triple he had back in the 5th inning. He'll pick up another RBI. 3 for 5 day for Eddie King.
Another chance for Tag Davis, who has reached twice and scored. It was a walk and a hit by pitch. Still looking for his first hit as a freshman, the talented two-way player. In a 12-1 game with the fastball outside. As we watch Hunter Alberini pitch, wild to think about the potential for how the JUCO ranks. I think about this, Pat, because he played Alberini at 2 different JUCOs. How back in December, as this pitch is in there for a strike, we had the ruling for the Vanderbilt quarterback, the injunction allowing an extra year. Remember that whole deal? It was essentially arguing that the JUCO should not count in this current era for the college athletes. It's on the outside edge. Diego Pavia, he transferred from New Mexico State. It had JUCO experience. That has really opened up a can of worms, especially in the college baseball side of it, where there is a thought that all of a sudden going forward, that ruling now opens precedent for JUCO players to still have full 4 years of eligibility. There's a swing and a miss and a strikeout of Tag Davis. And I was reading an article where you could realistically see a situation where you have like a 30-year-old college player. It is kind of wild to think about how it has impacted baseball in particular, more so than any other sport, the JUCO game.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense at the baseball level, but yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, a guy like Alberini, he's not going to be here for more than 2 years. May get drafted after this season with that arm. That's an electric fastball that went upper deck against Davis, and he had no chance. Yeah, it's a mid-90s fastball with a lot of late life to it. He's got the breaking ball to back it up.
Arizona just happy they've found Alberini, and he was in a good place with his development after 2 JUCO stops. Fires high to George Baker, who we did see pinch hit yesterday. Baker gets a crack at it today, one of 4 catchers in the mix. Alberini pitched at College of Southern Nevada, powerhouse JUCO, known most notably for producing Bryce Harper. That one punched to the left side and will be down. An infield single for George Baker. They love how good of a defensive catcher he is. Hasn't gotten a lot of opportunities at the plate, but George, after a pinch hit appearance last night, is on the board with an RBI.
Yeah, just hit it where they weren't. And Mason White pulled over towards the second base bag, and just a long run for him to get to it. No play on Baker. So that lead for the Cardinals gets extended.
(13-1). All runs coming across 2 innings. And it's back to the top of the order, Alex Olisea. Now, we've been talking, Pat, all the scouting reports for these pitchers and all the general projections and expectations for these teams. Certainly have a lot of people to thank for helping us out with that. The guys at D1 Baseball, Aaron Fitt, Kendall Rogers, Mike Rooney, their extensive reports. I mean, they are just godsends for us. You come in, it's opening weekend. I mean, you have no idea what you're going to see. But you feel like you are well prepared when you read those guys break down. So I have to give a shout out to them. And of course, Brett Gleason from Arizona, Stephen Williams at Louisville, all the team sports information directors giving us so much good intel on these guys. It makes it a lot more fun and enjoyable for us to start the season.
No doubt, especially when you're covering 6 teams in 3 days, right? It's just hard to prepare for that many teams. You know, you go into a typical weekend and you're just looking at 2 different lineups. But yeah, the challenge in these tournaments is you're doing triple duty.
Outside there on 1 and 2. Certainly better days ahead for Arizona. After a frustrating weekend, we'll see them head back home to Tucson at 0-3, but still projected to finish 2nd in the new look Big 12. Olisea lays off.
Don't often see a team that turns the lineup over twice in a game, but that's exactly what Louisville's done. They have batted around now in the 5th and the 8th. That'll close the book on Mason Russell's line. Unfortunately for him, just a third of an inning, give up 5 runs.
Called strike 3. Alberini battles back to gets the punch out, and we head to the bottom of the 8th. Possibly Arizona's last ups when we return to Globe Life Field. It's been all Cardinals today in our first of 3 games on Shriners Children's College Showdown Sunday. 13-1 to the bottom of the 8th. Another crooked inning, Pat. 5 more for the Cardinals, and they made it look easy. It was all simple, a bunch of singles.
Yeah, it's really been amazing to see. I mean, when you consider 17 hits, only 1 extra base hit, so 16 singles, but they have put them together. That's been the key for Louisville. A couple of big innings. Back in the 5th, did the same thing. They had 5 singles in a row. And then A.D. King Jr. hit the triple. Here in the 8th, same issue for the Wildcat pitching. Balls that were hit fairly hard, some balls that were dumped in, the balls that found holes, and Louisville's offense has taken advantage today and put a 13 spot on the scoreboard.
8 runs in the 5th, 5 in that 8th inning, batting around twice today. Good look at Ryan, their Shriners team captain, who we had up in the booth with us yesterday. Such a bundle of joy. He's gotten to be a part of 2 really fun Louisville wins. One the walk-off Friday, now the game today. Possibly the last ups here for Arizona. Run rule is in effect, and a new pitcher for the Cardinals as Brendan Summerhill takes a strike. It's Wyatt Danielovich. Swing and a miss here. Lefty coming off an injury that cost him all of last season. Excited to get his arm back in one of several talented left-handers at Dan McDonald's use. And he strikes out one of the best hitters in the country on 3 pitches. How about that start?
Yeah, great start. And electric stuff too. Good fastball, low 90s. And yeah, the breaking ball really is the out pitch, but locks up Summerhill with that fastball, catches the outside corner, and out number 1.
Against the top of this Arizona order. Well, for us, Pat, we'll pass the baton over to our guys Brant Freeman and Ty Harrington. They'll have you covered. Final 2 games of the night. Clemson, Ole Miss coming up next, then Texas and Oklahoma State. And a huge thank you to everybody behind the scenes. Want to shout them all out. With our director, Don Cardona, Lucas Haskins, and Phil Hopwood, our producers, Jeremy Hopper, our production coordinator, Darren Foyt, doing a great job as technical director all weekend. Big shout out to Carrie Derringer, who helped coordinate all those dugout interviews. She's our audio tech, and It's not easy making sure all the coaches are good to go down there in the dugout. So big thanks to Kerry.
Oh man, a lot of long nights and short days for that crew. They have done an incredible job, and we are forever grateful. Makes our job easy.
And for the coaches, players participating, all the interviews here, the Shriners kids up in the booth with us made it a lot of fun this weekend as the count goes 3-1 to Garen Caulfield as he spoils it foul.
And Danilowicz, coming off that injury that cost him all of last year, and sure looks like he's throwing nice, clean, and easy, and fastball's pretty quick.
High fly to right, lazy fly ball for Eddie King for the second out.
Such a good feeling for a pitcher and any player that goes down for a year. You miss the game, and it's not just the physical piece that you have to work and rehab to get back to, but it's the mental, emotional side of it too. It's just tough to be away from your teammates, but great job. Great to see him back out there.
There's the whole crew. We'd be remiss without pointing out all the outstanding camera operators we have. Wade Reeves, Evan Francis, Sky Hopper, Graham Rayner, Jimmy Brent, Tim Daly, Chris Burge. Also big shout out to Jeff Oswald, Craig Sepko, responsible for all the outstanding replays you saw this weekend. James Goodlow, Daryl Pierce, our engineers, and Brian Castro, Roman Montoya, Jake Montoya, our production assistants as well. Job well done, team. And they've got a couple more games, so we don't want. They're not going to rest on their laurels, but we have to give them the proper shot up before we go. As Arizona's down to their final strike, Mason White at the plate.
They are sure happy though to get to lunch here fairly quickly. We're hoping to get this last out, go get something to eat. Boys, you got two more.
Slider down in the dirt. At least one, if not two, more people are yelling at you, Pat, for even bringing that up. But
I'm just not that superstitious.
I'm with you for the record on that. There's no jinxes. It doesn't exist.
It's just baseball.
I'll go to my grave on that. White, a little punch out to the right side. Alicea ranges over and makes the play, and that does it. As the Louisville Cardinals use 2 crooked innings to come from behind, erase an early deficit, and wipe out Arizona 13-1. Louisville enters this tournament as one of just 2 unranked teams. They leave with 2 wins in 3 games.
Yeah, a couple of big wins here at a neutral site for Dan McDonald's Cardinals. And man, they put the offense together, put on a show today. Hard to believe Arizona was leading this game at one point, and for a few innings nonetheless at 1-0. But yeah, the Cardinals just turned it on. And for Arizona and Chip Hale, hey, plenty of baseball left in the season. And as we have talked so many times before, we have seen teams leave here winless and still have a great run for the season. So there is not much concern in that Arizona dugout other than they'd like to get those hitters going.
Just a single hit today for Arizona. It was all the way back in the first inning. Ended up today, Pat, with just a single AB with runners in scoring position.
Hard to believe.
You got to do better going forward. But you figure they will. You'd never count out a Chip Hale coach team, and brighter days ahead for U of A. But you're right. Stunning to see a team as talented as that with just 1 hit on the board.
It really is. And look, we talked about it before the game. It's it's the veteran guys, and Chip Hale even said, look, they got to figure it out. And at this point in their careers, there's not a ton you tell them. You just say, hey, keep working hard. But let's go back to what made us good to begin with, right? Not swinging at bad pitches. You got to be more selective, be disciplined. And then when you get your pitch, don't miss it. And we saw plenty of swings and misses this week from the Wildcats. So they'll have some adjustments to make. But there's a lot of talent in that dugout. Those guys will be back.
Meanwhile, for Dan McDonald, I know you lost 1 game in blowout fashion yesterday to Oklahoma State, but you have to come out of this weekend so pumped. The way they fought back, walked off Texas Friday, and the way the pitching, which is a big question mark, so many innings to replace, almost 3/4 of the staff from last year, really held up well against 2 good offenses this weekend.
Yeah, no doubt. And look, Peter Michael, I mean, that was a great outing for him. You're looking for who's going to be those pieces to our weekend rotation. And a couple of guys stand out immediately. Patrick Forbes, who we talked to during the game, and then of course Michael with a great start today. And there are a lot of good arms in that bullpen, and Dan McDonald referenced that. They just got to figure out the roles going forward. But yeah, an exciting offense. You've got some really good pieces in that lineup, and it is a physical, aggressive, fast team over there at Louisville. So Yeah, I'm sure Dan McDonald's leaving here feeling really good and excited about what he has.
Now, we normally give players of the game to the hitters. There's a lot of excitement that comes from the bats, but in deference to you, Pat, it's our last game together this weekend, so Peter Michael will be our player of the game.
Finally.
I feel like it's your time, Pat. It's finally happened.
Finally, they honor a pitcher. I love it. Well, he earned it. And what an outing for him. Just gave up the one hit. Of course, it was a home run to Mason White, but he recovered quickly and threw 4 gems of innings after that. But great job by Michael, and he does get the player of the game honor. And we are waiting for that Louisville team meeting. You can hear Dan McDonald in the background. They will pray, and we'll hopefully get a chance to chat with Peter Michael.
And they will be signing autographs as well in the concourse after the game. And Dan McDonald, you could tell he was so ready for the season to get here. His team barely missing the postseason each of the last 2 years for a program that has reached Omaha 5 times under Coach McDonald. It never made it until he got to Louisville. They feel like they are at least 1 foot in the right direction the way this season has started.
Yeah, it's a lot of excitement coming out of Arlington, Texas for that Cardinal team. See if they can build upon this. Got a cold week coming up. We'll see if they can get their games in midweek. Got a big cold front coming through. It's going to be, I think, a high of 25 degrees in Arlington on Wednesday. Thank goodness we have a roof over the stadium.
You are correct on that. Well, as much as we talk about history of teams who struggle here, then go on to big runs, there have been some teams over the years that were not highly touted coming into the season, showed out in Arlington, and then had big seasons. Auburn comes to mind a couple years ago, unranked in the preseason, made a deep run in the tournament. Maybe Louisville could be next. We'll send it down to our reporter, Leanza Peroni. She's standing behind our player of the game, Peter Michael.
Leaving Arlington with 2 top 25 wins, from the walk-off on Friday against Texas to the run rule win today. How incredible has this weekend been here at Globe Life for the Cardinals?
Yeah, it's been great. We practice this from the scrimmages, practices, everything. Like, this team, this is just the beginning. I'm telling you, there's going to be bigger places than this, so we're excited.
Tossed a 1-hitter with 5 punch-outs in your first debut as a Cardinal. How excited are you to continue on this season with this really talented Louisville pitching staff?
Yeah, I mean, it starts on the mound, obviously. Battled through adversity my first 2 years of college baseball, so this is a pretty cool moment to be out here with a team that, I mean, every single guy loves each other, and I'm proud of myself, but more proud of the team and the guys behind me. So.
Louisville is second in the team fundraising rankings this weekend. What do you have to say to the generous Louisville fans out there that donated and made an impact this weekend for Shriners Children's?
I mean, we got the best fans in the business. I'll say that. From the minute I signed to the time that I've been here, it's been nothing but family, ups and downs. I love it. Louisville fans, again, best in the country, so it doesn't surprise me.
Great win this weekend. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Leanza, for a great post-game interview, for all your hard work this weekend as Louisville leaves Arlington 2 wins in 3 games. Final score in run rule fashion after 8 innings, Louisville 13, Arizona 1. For Pat Combs, Leanza Peroni, the rest of our outstanding Flo College team, I'm Ben Wilson saying goodbye for now. Don't worry, though, 2 more games still to come. Up next, Ole Miss and Clemson to follow us in an hour. Brent Frieden and Ty Harrington have you covered the rest of the day from Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas.